Welcome to Yankee Stadium, where everything's intact for the Yanks and Mariners, and some of the best and brightest baseball has to offer. In 1995, this rivalry was born, as the Mariners' October comeback put an exclamation point on one of the best postseason series ever. In 96, it was the Yankees that owned all of October. Now it's 98, and the Pinstripers are blue hot. You want stars? Try center field with Junior Griffey and Bernie Williams. Try shortstop with Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter. You want Martinez's? Try Edgar and one-time Mariner Tino. Joe Torre knows the intensity of this rivalry. Nobody has to get Lou Piniella fired up. The Yankees and Mariners come out firing. Welcome to one of the most famous sporting venues in all the world, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, as the New York Yankees host the Seattle Mariners in the first of a brief two-game set. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman along with Ray Knight. So glad you could be with us on Wednesday Night Baseball. Things are okay here at Yankee Stadium, but I tell you what, we look out here, a great rivalry. Things were not okay the first couple of weeks for the Seattle Mariners. Even when they were horrible, they never started out 3-10. The bullpen woes well documented. Jay Buhner now out for 2 months. What do? Well, you know what? They're only a game below 500 now because they have solutions whose names aren't all Griffey. Isn't that right?
You're right, Chris. They have so much firepower, but the best ball player in this ball club other than Griffey is Alex Rodriguez. He's leading the league in so many categories offensively. Just a tremendous defensive shortstop. And as I've said before, in 1996, I think he should have been MVP.
Well, he's hitting second again in the lineup, so we'll see him at the top of the first inning. As for the Yankees, they began the West Coast trip not well. Yeah, they've won 14 of 16, Ray, but they began 0-3, then 1-4. People felt heads might roll before they even started the season in the Bronx. And they really haven't gotten to know the new David Cone yet, although he's shown flashes the last couple of starts.
Well, he really has. David Cone this year is on a little different program. He's going to be more pitch efficient, as you see him blowing his hand there. He's had some circulation problems early, which contributed to that 14.89 earned run average. He's starting to find his rhythm. He's on a pitch count, 85 pitches to 100 pitches. Joe Torre will read him tonight, but he won't throw more than 100 pitches.
Well, he's got a tough pitching matchup tonight, Ray, because Cone goes against Jeff Fassero, who was 3-0 against the Pinstripers a year ago. Let's see. Junior in the house that Ruth built. Sounds pretty good to me. Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
Hi, I'm Dave Revson in our Wednesday Night Baseball studios. We'll get you back out to the Bronx in just a moment, but first we want to get you updated on everything else going on. A busy night in the American League. Let's check out some of the highlights. The Red Sox taking on the Angels. John Valentin. A two-run shot to tie it at 3 in the 5th. That's his second home run of the game. He also hit a solo shot in the 3rd. That's where it stands right now. Angels and Red Sox tied at 3. Let's get you up to date on a couple other scores. The Rangers and the Tigers. Texas leading that one 1-0. Royals and Jays just underway. They are scoreless. Bottom of the 2nd. In the National League this afternoon, the Reds beat the Phils 1-0. Pete Harnisch, his first shutout in 2 seasons, and the Cards pounding the Expos. Let's go back to Yankee Stadium now. Chris Berman and Ray Knight.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. This has really bubbled now in year 4 of this rivalry, which was really nothing until that 95 season, which we began to talk about at the head of the show. Lou Piniella's next-tell lineup for these Seattle Mariners, who won last night behind Randy Johnson in Kansas City after a rainout on Monday. Joey Albacora leads off, started the year with a 16-game hitting streak. A-Rod is second at shortstop. Junior is hitting third, as always, in center field. Edgar Martinez at the DH. David Segui and Glenn Allen Hill are hitting above 350. They are hot, hitting 5 and 6. Dan Wilson is 7 behind the plate. Russ Davis, one-time Yankee, is at third base, hitting 8. Rob A.C. Ducey is the right fielder tonight and replacing Jay Buhner, at least this evening, against fireballer turned control pitcher, David Cone.
Yeah, no question about it. Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, said that he wants him to throw first ball pitches for strikes. The Dave Cone features a fastball that barely gets in the 90s now. You remember him throwing 95, 96 as a youngster. A slider that Joe Torre told me was his key, getting that slider over against right-handed hitters and then a split finger. Defense tonight for the Yankees, you see there, Jeter and Williams and Knobloch. Teams have to be strong up the middle, and I think this is as strong a team up the middle as there is in all of baseball. Williams outstanding defensively. Jeter and Knobloch obviously great defensively. We talked about Alex Rodriguez. This is one guy that doesn't have to take a back seat defensively to Rodriguez. I think Jeter's as good as anybody. He just does not possess the power that A-Rod has, but one of the finest young shortstops in the game.
And look at the smile. I mean, and look at A-Rod's smile.
Yeah.
The best thing about these two guys, and now they are all-stars, we have a question, is that they love to play the game every day. And I'm not being, that's not the polite thing to say. They're happy to come to the park.
Well, I'd like to be 22, making about $6 million, and coming to the park and play baseball.
Well, they're not quite there yet, but he will be. But, and what's great? They know the fans love to come out and see them play, and they like putting on a show. They respect the history of the game. They respect where it's going. These are two of the best ambassadors baseball will have as we go into the next, dare I say, millennium. Joey Cora began the season with a 16-game hitting streak, which set a club record. Shot to right center field, but Bernie Will, it's off his glove. It rolls to the wall. Cora will round second base and dig for 3. Chad Curtis up with the ball into the relay man, and Knobloch will float it in. 1 pitch, 1 triple.
Well, that's exactly what Mel Stottlemyre said. He's going to get Dave Cone right at him, but the thing that I say in this play right here is Cone went right at him, but our center fielder, Bernie Williams, takes a bad angle at the ball. Watch him here. Instead of going back for this line drive, he goes straight over to it. And as a result, he misjudges it. He could have gone back a step or two and made that play easily, but outfielders oftentimes take bad angles, and as a result, he misses the ball. Cora running hard all the way, slowing down a little bit, rounding first base, and once he gets to second, it's just a matter of staying on his feet.
Hey, Joey thought that Bernie was going to catch the ball. That brings up Alex Rodriguez with a runner in scoring position already. Alex with 8 home runs. So there's a veritable plethora of players with the 8th spot to lead the American League in homers. He's one of them. 8 homers and 18 RBIs. It'll be interesting to see how Cone throws tonight. That ERA, after 4 starts, I know it's in the 8s, but the Yankees look at it this way as we look at Rodriguez's numbers, and it's hard to do much better than that. Although he will, is that the Yankees really didn't think they would have David Cone until May. So they view this as a real bonus.
You're right, Chris. It is a bonus because they want him to build his arm up, and as we talked about, 85 to 100 pitches. That slider that is so critical in Joe Torre's mind to show him that Cone has arm strength. You can throw fastballs, you can throw split fingers, but when you have a problem with your hand or your arm, it's tough to throw a nice biting slider.
Now the old David Cone of 1 and 2, you know what he throws. Well, he still threw it, didn't he?
Well, that was 81 mile an hour. I think that was a split finger that he meant to get down. His first fastball was 88, but this pitch right here, I think, is a split finger that he gets up, but
didn't split much.
It didn't do anything. I don't believe that was an 81 mile an hour fastball up there around his neck.
Well, I'm not going to get married to the clock.
Let's don't marry that clock.
Okay. We'll date it. We won't marry it. Mel Stottlemyre knows that he can still bring it. In talking with Joe Girardi before the game, he said David still throws 90 sometimes. He says he's okay. But, and I don't want to belabor the point in the first inning as we go through it, but as you and I watch, and you fans at home, he's trying to change a mindset that he's had ever since he was a pitcher in high school. Just to go out and fire it. It's hard. 1 and 2. Now I'm going heater. No, it's a new pitcher a little bit, isn't it?
Right. Well, he was always a strikeout pitcher. His mind was that macho strikeout. I'm going to come at you with everything I have and make you look bad. And he tried to do it by punching people out. People that do that go deep in the count and as a result, throw 140 pitches a game. Now, supposedly, he's trying to go right at hitters and be pitch efficient and get ground ball out.
2-2 pitch to Alex Rodriguez. And he will sit down. Well, New pitcher, old pitcher, he still knows how to strike out a big hitter.
Well, that's really interesting there. He went away with the slider. He went up with the fastball or the split, back away with the fastball. Then he comes back and watch Girardi sit up inside and watch him thread the needle just right there, boy. And you've got to be quick. And what happens there is that slider that Torrey mentioned away makes you really susceptible to the fastball in. And Coney got it right where he wanted to. Result, punch out.
Look at the batting average for Junior. See, that's an eye-opener. Yes, he's one of the many tied with 8 home runs to lead the league and 24 RBIs. I don't believe he'll end up at that 250 mark, Ray, but in talking with Jesse Barfield, the batting coach of the Mariners, he said what pitchers are doing this year, now that they haven't tried it before, is busting him inside, but for some reason, it's bothering him in the first month, and he's surrendering as a result a lot of the outside of the plate. Scott Brocious, Derek Jeter, it's Brocious that drops the ball. Cora will come home. And here's Cone, who had fought through A-Rod and looked like he gotten Griffey. And Brocious, who's played such a stellar third base. E5, 1-0 Seattle.
Well, it's just a concentration error here. Not a lot of wind here. A little bit of wind blowing out. May have affected the ball that Bernie Williams went over to, but this is just a pretty much routine play once he squares up to the infield. But there he just takes his eye off the ball, and the ball hits him actually right in the heel of his glove. Look, right there in the heel of his glove. Looks like he's a little off balance, but that's just a routine play for any major league player. There you see the wind blowing out just a little bit to left center field.
So instead of 2 outs and a runner still at third base, Brocious gets the error, so no RBI for Griffey. Griffey's on with 1 out, a run in, and here is Edgar Martinez.
Well, there's nothing that will get your pitch count up more than bad defensive plays. You get 27 outs. We've talked about that time and time again. Now already the Mariners will have 28 outs tonight because in anybody's book that was an out. And as a result, whatever amount of pitches he has to throw, the next 2 hitters are just pitches that he shouldn't have to throw. That made sense, didn't it?
Yeah, sure. You always make sense to me. Glad to see you.
It's good to see you. I've been great, man.
It's good to get together. We haven't seen each other since the playoffs, Giants-Marlins series, which was so much fun. Right down the inside corner. The Yankees have, going into the game, allowed the second fewest unearned runs in the American League. So that's a rarity. And Scott Brocious has really opened up eyes defensively. I mean, they have people saying that he's played third with no knock on Wade Boggs better than anyone since Greg Nettles, although he didn't on that play.
Well, it's funny. They probably haven't seen him have to catch too many fly balls. They're talking about ground balls. And it's funny how the easiest plays sometimes give you the most problems. But Joe Torre made it a point to tell us how well Scott Brocious has played and that even he was surprised at how solid and how quick he is defensively.
1-2 count to Edgar Martinez. Foul back. Edgar, too, for him, is struggling at 270. So here's Griffey, 250. Edgar Martinez, 270. I know, we're still in April.
Well, Edgar's getting to the point in his career that his bat is probably going to start slowing down a bit. He's almost 35 years old. He's been a tremendous offensive player. He's in the option year of his contract, but he has not hit very many balls hard this year, Chris. Griffey, on the other hand, has hit a lot of balls hard right at people, but there comes a time when everybody starts slowing down, and from talking to scouts and people around the game, Martinez is not hitting the ball hard this year.
He got off into a terrible slump. He's hit better. He's almost automatic at the plate. And just ask the Yankees. I mean, he has killed the Yankees. And on cue, he kills one to left. But Timmy Raines circles around and can't get. Griffey will be held at third base, and Martinez is into second with a double. And that fooled Raines out there.
Well, that wind must be really swirling out there. You look out there, and the big flag is straight down right now. The flags around the outside part of the facade are got a little bit of breeze under them, but the ball must be jumping. Now, this ball is really smoked there. That's a great swing and a line drive, which is very difficult right at you to judge, but he had no chance on that ball. But that's 3 balls now that have been misplayed. That ball wasn't misplayed, but 2 balls out of 3 have been misplayed.
So now runners at second and third for David Segui. Now here's a Mariner who is hitting above expectations. 366.
Well, this is American League, and you see that the infield is back here early in the game, trying to prevent a big inning by knocking the ball down and not letting a routine ground ball go through and score 2 runs.
Ripped to right center field. Curtis will not get it. Griffey scores. Edgar Martinez scores. The Mariners lead it 3-0. David Cone feels a little snake bit, although the last 2 balls were roped.
Well, actually, three
Three
balls have been hit real hard, and this is the counterpoint on throwing the ball out over the plate early. Is if these hitters know that's a pretty good pitch. That ball is down about 8 inches off the ground, and Segui, as hot as a pistol right now, just rockets it to right field. Look at that total. 13 strikes, but 3 of them have been hit pretty hard.
They've been strikes going the other way.
Yeah.
180-degree strikes.
Yeah.
Here's Glenn Allen Hill, who has been a major, I don't want to say surprise, but he's hitting at 360 after coming over from San Francisco, where he was the last couple of seasons, off injured with the Giants. You knew he brought power.
Yeah,
he fielded okay out and left, and a 360 average. My goodness, that's much more than Lou Piniella and company thought they were getting.
Well, he's never hit for much of an average. He's always been a guy that could hit the ball out of the ballpark and hit 25 home runs, but he has a lot of holes, Chris. He's a dead fastball hitter, middle-in hitter. He has a tendency to bail off the ball and is real susceptible to breaking balls, but this year he's putting it together and playing left field, which is a better position for him. In San Francisco, he played right field, which is a little bit tougher.
Jeff Becerra says, keep it going, guys. Hill fouls that off, and Cone has run it to 2-2. Cone's got 2 strikes. He just about everybody.
Well, he has. I was about to say, before those 2 rockets were hit, that it looked like to me that he had real good stuff. He had good explosion on that fast rod to fastball to A-Rod inside, and a couple of pitches looked like they were breaking really well.
Took something off that one, foul back into the glove and out of the glove of Girardi. So we'll do it again at 2-2. 3 runs home if you've just joined us. An error by Brocious on a pop-up to Griffey, and then a 2-run single by David Segui. Joey Cora started it with a triple. David's probably feeling a little betwixt in between, huh?
Well, he is. Anytime you get off to this kind of start, it's very tough on you. You want to start and set a rhythm for the ball game and for your ball club and get in and out in the first inning as quickly as you can.
Sky to center field. Bernie Williams lopes over to the left center, makes the play. Segui back to first, 2 out.
But you're looking at probably as strong a competitor as there ever has been on the pitching mound when you're looking at Dave Cone. When he was with the Mets and young pitched with Kansas City, this man really knows how to battle, and he's the kind of guy that will pick himself up, get back in that dugout, regroup, talk to Mel Stottlemyre a little bit, maybe converse with Girardi, and he's the type of guy that can shut you down. But this is a pretty strong lineup he's got to wade through here. One of your favorite players, Danny Wilson.
Love Dan Wilson. I know you do too. By the way, that A, he's a gentleman. B, a tremendous defensive catcher who brings pretty good average and some pretty good pop to the plate. Hitting at 273, just 1 homer thus far this year. But that was one of the first moves Lou Piniella made when he became manager of the Mariners. He made a trade immediately for Ayala and Dan Wilson. Now, it cost him Hanson and Brett Boone. So we're talking about 4 bona fide big-time major league players. But he got Wilson, who was the backup to Oliver when Lou was with the, managing the Reds. He made that move within the first month of being manager of the Mariners.
Like you said, he knew Bobby Ayala from the minor leagues, having seen him, and Danny was actually there when I went there with Davey Johnson in '93, and was an outstanding-looking young catcher. We didn't know if he was going to hit. He had what we thought was a slow bat, but he's become an outstanding major league hitter, really good in the clutch. Cone looks like to me he's throwing well. You lose your concentration a little bit when you have really a mental lapse more than a physical error with Brosius at third base, and pitchers tend to lose their concentration a little bit and get hit. That's 28 pitches.
Not good.
Not good.
2-2 pitch. Joe couldn't hold on. We'll do it again. Let's talk about Wilson, though, for a moment. Last year, 15 homers, 74 ribbies, 270. Year before, 18 homers, 83 ribbies, 285. So he's brought his bat along with his glove. He's one of the best at throwing out runners. And one thing Lou Piniella wants to do a little bit is not play him 140, 145 games. Cone gets the strikeout. So in an inning where he struck out 2, he also gave up 3 runs. The Yankees coming up, trailing 3-0.
What?
Well, the Mariners hung a 3 spot on David Cone. Now Jeff Fassero will try to tame the Yankee lineup. Fassero, who was 3-0 last year against the New York Yankees in his first action in the American League, started with a win on opening night and never was headed when it came to pitching against the Yankees. Here's the Nextel Yankee lineup as doled out by Joe Torre. And among the amazing stats this year, the Yankees have won 14 of the last 16. They've stolen 39 bases to lead the major leagues. These are the Yankees leading the majors in stolen bases. One reason is Chuck Newkidson Knobloch is the leadoff batter, hitting first. Derek Jeter batting second. Timmy Raines in left field. Paul O'Neill, who's been slumping, gets the seat tonight. And Raines just goes in exactly in O'Neill's spot in the order. Bernie Williams up to clean up tonight. Tino Martinez, the lefty, down to 5th. Chad Curtis, who's been great, hits right field in 6th. Jorge Posada normally catches, will DH tonight. Scott Brosius is the third baseman hitting 8th. Joe Girardi will catch hitting 9th. And here's the lefty. Works inside very well, Jeff Fassero.
He really does. He works both sides of the plate really well. Jeff Fassero with a good fastball that he runs and turns over. Outstanding split finger, a changeup and a slider. So he uses 4 pitches, and as you said, uses both sides of the plate. And Chris, he usually, if he's going to have problems, he struggles early.
Starts Knobloch off with a fastball, says home plate umpire Rocky Rowe. Knobloch's average, he got on base every game in the preseason, and I think the first 2 weeks every game for the Yankees, but they've won 14-16 with Chuck Knobloch hitting .233, Derek Jeter striking out a little more than he should, no home runs between Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill, David Cone with an ERA of 8, and the Yankees are over 700.
Yeah, Paul O'Neill 0 for 22, right. Their bullpen has been outstanding.
Wilson and Davis, Davis makes the call, and he fought the win. So 1 is an accident, 2 is a trend, 3 is a problem. We can now establish the wind is trouble tonight.
Yeah, but I don't see it. I guess it's this, circular. As we look at the Seattle Mariners defense, we talked up the middle again. Look at this up the middle. Rodriguez, whom I think is the best all-around shortstop in the game. Joey Cora, not known for his defense, but makes up for it offensively. And there, Griffey, nobody compares to him. And as we go a little farther, there, Danny Wilson with a great defensive ability. Alex Rodriguez, man, I tell you, he's becoming my favorite player. I hadn't seen him play a whole lot as I was tied up managing in the other league, but I've got to enjoy him this year, and he's some kind of player.
Here is his opposite and good friend, Derek Jeter. Pitch outside. Yeah, you were tied up managing it.
Yeah, really tied up.
Well, if you were still there, sure they did to Jack McKeon yesterday?
Yeah,
they
boy.
They said he was under arrest.
Yeah, I saw that.
They came in, Bowden did it, the GM. Said he was under arrest for smoking a cigar in a non-smoking area. They drove him around the park a couple of times. Had Dennis Menke's name on the door when he got back at the manager. See, you could have been under arrest for 5 minutes.
Yeah, well.
Instead, you're under arrest with us.
Oh.
This ball is under arrest. Back it goes. Back, gone. Home run number 3 for Derek Jeter. And the Yankees are on the board. Hey, these teams bring their bats, and Lou Piniella, David, everybody knows it. Cone says, way to go, Derek.
This is just a fastball right there, out over the plate and up. And Jeter smoked that ball. And as you said, Chris, we don't see it here very much, but the wind is whipping pretty much as we see papers from hot dog wrappers starting to go skyward.
Doesn't look like candlestick,
No, it doesn't.
but it's tricky, and Jeter got the ball in the stream. Cone is hoping for more runs, and here is Timmy Raines. That's going to get through the left side for a base hit. All right, Timmy Raines, every year the season starts, and well, you know, there may not be room for Raines on this club. Then something happens. In this case, with Chili Davis going on the DL with the ankle injury for 6 weeks, the group of Curtis, Strawberry, and Raines between DH and left field, there's plenty of playing time. It's, with the lefty Facero going, we won't see Straw tonight because there's a pitching change, but Raines is a true professional.
Well, he is, as are the other two. When you talk about Chad Curtis and Darryl Strawberry, they're both, all three of them are great professionals, and by that, I mean, they come to the ballpark, you don't have to, there's not a lot of maintenance, they know how to play the game, and as Joe Torre was telling us this spring, that he just let everybody be on their own and stealing bases, and he learned a lot about them. He thought that Darryl Strawberry and Curtis and Raines were outstanding in reading pitches, and that's, as a result, that's why they're leading the lead in steals. 5 or 6 of these men are on their own, and Joe Torre's learned a lot about them.
Here's Bernie Williams, who had been hitting 5 since he went into a funk. Bernie was 8 for 35 until a 2 for 4 night last night, albeit in a loss to Toronto. Bernie's up to the 4-hole where he had started the year and where he had been hitting. But that's as much of a function as Facero, tough lefty, Tino Martinez, lefty. I think Bernie will go back to the 5-hole once the Yankees use their normal lineup with O'Neill.
Yeah, O'Neill's their 3-hole hitter, and no question about it. Tino Martinez is a true 4-hole hitter in this lineup. And then Williams hitting 5, and that's a pretty formidable 3-4-5. And
Joe's saying that when O'Neill is in, there's lefty, then a switch, then another lefty. Tino, he splits up the left-right if he has to.
Right.
Bernie, for the first time, as they keep an eye on Raines as well, they should rock one of the all-time leaders, stolen bases. Raines 4th in the modern era. Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock, Ty Cobb, Tim Raines. In the modern era. That doesn't include our friends sliding Billy Hamilton and others. There goes Raines, and they haven't picked off, or do they? Ray, this is a buckle your seatbelt first inning.
Well, it is. Tim Raines just goes on the first move, and that's what you have to do against left-handers when you're stealing bases, is you go on the first move, because if you wait on anything else, you get picked off. But watch, the first move here, he breaks. Facero goes to first. Segui moves inside the line, and all that happens is Rodriguez takes his eye off the ball and misses. And you see that so often in the big leagues. You know, you fuss at little leaguers for missing balls by taking their eyes off the ball, but it happens up here, too, a lot.
To Air Rodriguez, it goes as a caught-stealing E6. Not as a stolen base for Timmy Raines. So now Raines in scoring position for Bernie Williams. Just a note on Raines. It's not a stolen base, but he could steal 2 tonight. Isn't it interesting to have a guy in the number 3 hole, albeit that's not his normal spot, who can run like him? 798 career stolen bases. So if he got 2 tonight, he gets 800.
Well,
Yowza.
Well, he was in the National League for all those years, and people feared him. He was such an igniter leading that Montreal offense, and he was there, and such a tremendous hitter, great defensive player, played hard all the time, nicknamed The Rock.
Inside and high to Bernie at 3-1. You know, Timmy Raines was Vince Coleman before Vince Coleman was.
Yes, he was.
Right?
Yeah. You see Facero struggling. I mentioned earlier how he has a tendency to struggle early in the ball game, and what I mean by that is that he has a tough time locating the ball. He's all over the strike zone. Once he gets a feel, as he gets lathered up a little bit, he starts to getting more concise with his control.
Sarah misses outside, and Wilson will go out to talk to him. Not been a good start for Jeff Facero, especially when you consider that he was staked to a 3-run lead. Blue says, you know, my starting pitching's been fine. Please don't do this. Because the bullpen had the first couple of weeks that I don't think. He said it couldn't get any worse.
There's not a lot you could say about that first 2 weeks. They were as bad as you could possibly be, and it goes all the way back to last year, and it's been beaten to death, but you couldn't be more ineffective than that bullpen was. But
well,
they got it turned around, and they only want to really talk about positives now.
For the Yankees in a positive situation, Tino Martinez with the 25 ribbies among the league leaders. With 2 men aboard. Raines at second base and Bernie Williams at first. Both can move.
The Yankees are a very patient hitting ball club, too. They don't swing at very many bad balls.
Working the outside of the plate strength, says Rocky Rowe. Rocky Rowe behind the plate. Durwood Merrill at first. Dale Scott at second. Dave Phillips at third. That's the umpiring crew tonight. Breaking ball for a strike. So now he's worked away and away to Tino. Facero missed the first 2 starts of the year. And he's on the DL with elbow problem. Lou Piniella says, I mean, it's not like he's come back with a pitch count, but keep in mind tonight, this is the 7th day since his last start. He had to get Randy Johnson back in the rotation after the suspension, so that moved him to 6 days, and then they had a rainout. So he hadn't pitched for 7 days, so maybe you come out a little bit differently than you would on your 5th day.
Well, pitchers will tell you, starting pitchers especially, that they do not like that much layoff because it makes them too strong. It gets them off of their rhythm where they throw on the second and third day to take the first day off, then throw on the second, third day off before they had pitched the 5th day. When you have 7 days between starts, it's very difficult because they feel real strong and they lose their command.
Well, one reason Facero might have stepped off is that although it is early, Tino Martinez with runners in scoring position this season, 442. Went inside, up high a little bit. Tino had to offer at it and fouled it back.
Well, that was a breaking ball that he started at, Tino, and it didn't really break. That's that backup slider. You're going to see right here how he starts the breaking ball at him. Catcher set up away, and the ball just kind of hangs right there, and Tino fights it off. Facero, 35 years old, really a late bloomer. 91 was his first year in the big leagues with Montreal, just as a part-timer. Then he really came into his own in 1993 at 31 years old.
Yeah, he spent 7 years in the minors. So we know that he's willing to work and he's patient.
Yeah.
Lou Piniella, of course, once managed Tino Martinez. Tino now in his 3rd year with the Yankees, coming over in the much heralded and much ballyhooed trade here, and it's some heat for it in Seattle. That was a strict money deal at the time. And he came over along with Jeff Nelson at the end of the '95 season for Russ Davis and Sterling Hitchcock.
Well, you remember Don Mattingly was a guy that had departed, and there was a lot of ballyhoo in New York about if Martinez was going to be good enough to replace Don Mattingly, and all he's done is drive in 111, 117 and 141 runs the last 2 years.
He's replaced him.
Yes, he has.
And here's another RBI as Reeves will come around third to score. Griffey will lope it into shortstop to Rodriguez, and the Yankees have cut it to 3-2. Now he's hitting almost 500 with runners in scoring position.
Another breaking ball that Tino stays on, not quite as good as the other two breaking balls. Just look at that ball going away from his head, going down to the baseball. And one thing that pitchers do, a lot of times they throw their best breaking ball the first pitch, and then they can't duplicate it later in the count, and hitters, having seen the best breaking ball, jump on something that's not as effective or as sharp.
Stan Williams, the new pitching coach, which is a story in itself. Out to the mound to talk to Pissarro, the steamer, 61 years young. Not often that you fire your pitching coach on April 13th, and Nardi Contreras got fired after the bullpen's histrionics. Williams, more of a veteran and certainly a fiery, wants his pitchers all more aggressive, although that's certainly not Pissarro's problem.
No, Williams a lot like Lou. He was actually pitching coach for Lou in Cincinnati in 1990.
This is Chad Curtis as Pissarro pulled something off that pitch, and Curtis swings through it. He's come over to the Yankees and just done nothing but produce.
Well, I always liked him as a player. He's a guy that always ran well, played solid. He came up as a center fielder, was a solid defensive player with the Angels in Detroit. Always ran well, made contact, had a little bit of pop for a guy that's small. But he's always been a guy that I thought would be an outstanding fourth outfielder for a contending ball club, and he fits right in here.
0-1 pitch to Curtis. Strike two. Curtis on the year, hitting at 340. He came over in the David Weathers trade last season from Cleveland in June and hit 291 as a Yankee with 12 homers. So he just thought they were getting a spot player, a good professional, but he has exceeded expectations of that trade.
Well, he really has. He has a 500 on base percentage this year, so not only has he hit, he's gotten on base and fit right into this patient Yankee lineup.
Breaking ball as Curtis fouls the plate. Curtis, the pride of Marion, Indiana.
David Cohn real happy. He knows he's right back in this ball game now, 3-2 ball game, and that just puts him right where he wants to be. And as we talked about earlier, the competitor in him, you'll see it come out. We'll just see how healthy he is.
Pissarro taking his time, and he usually works quicker than this. I understand there's a couple men on, but he usually is a rhythm pitcher, Ray.
He is, and he has to find that rhythm, though, and sometimes you come in from the bullpen and you don't feel it, you don't feel in sync, and it takes you 15, 20 pitches to find it. Obviously, he's struggling early like he generally does.
Fastball in the inside corner. Now, that's where he likes to work hitters, and he punched Curtis out. 2 down.
Well, that's why he's been so effective in the big leagues. He throws a changeup that he turns over away, then he comes back and has that look as a catcher, motion for the ball up, and he gets it inside. Just perfect pitch, nothing you can do about it. 91 mile an hour fastball, too. That's what you call burying the ball inside. My pitching coach, Donnie Gullett, used to say, I want you to bury that ball inside. That's burying it. You don't leave it out over the plate. You make sure you get it on the inside part of the plate, black, into the belt buckle.
This is Jorge Posada, good offensive catcher. They get both catchers in the lineup tonight with Posada, the DH. It's an unusual lead. Joe really, it's kind of a split. This is kind of what was billed as a battle between owner and manager. The owner, George Steinbrenner, wanted to see more of Posada. The manager, and Joe Torre and the bench coach, Don Zimmer, big Joe Girardi fans. But what's happened is they're playing 2 on and 2 off primarily.
Right. Well, Girardi, really a professional catcher, knowing how to handle pitchers, has been known for that all the way back into his days with Colorado.
And the Cubs, where Zimmer
And the Cubs, absolutely.
Hit to left field. Glenn Allen Hill. That wind didn't fool him there, and Posada with a long fly is retired to left field. But Yankees come back with a 2-spot. Led off by the solo home run to left field by Derek Jeter. Hey, we've got a good one here in the Bronx.
Winless since opening day. Now you begin to understand why. Rafael Palmeiro crushed Velvet. A 3-run shot, his 3rd of the year in the first. O's already leading it 3-0. Let's go back to New York.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. 3-2 here. What an interesting first inning we had. I must confess here, I was disappointed to find out that Dave, because I saw his name written and never heard it pronounced, it's Dave Rebzin. When he first came to us on ESPN News, I thought it was Dave Rebzin, and if that was the case, Chavez Rebzin. So I was disappointed to hear that it was pronounced differently. I had a good one for you, Dave, but then I had to hear how the name was pronounced. Kind of like John Burkett when he first came up to pitching with John Burkett. So that's charcoal.
Right.
And he said, I didn't even want to tell you this because I like the nickname, but it's
What did you find for Burkett?
nothing.
Nothing.
I was heartbroken. Russ Davis sitting in the 8-hole. As we said, came over in that trade from the Yankees. Tino Martinez, big deal a couple of years back. Normally hits 9, but with Buhner out of the lineup, Ducey hits 9, and everything shuffled a little bit, and Cone is ahead 0-2. So let's see how David pitches this thing. See if he changes. Again to 2 strikes.
Well, that slider looks real good to me, Chris, and save for that pop-up drop, Seattle would not have put those 3 runs on the board, but he's sitting in a pretty good position right now. That's a good pitch.
Yeah. Striker number 3 for David Cone. He can still do that. Davis will sit. Rob Ducey to the plate.
Well, he goes slider, then comes back with another slider. Just bottom drops out of it, gets on top of it, and obviously Russ has a little problem with sliders because he fed him a steady diet of it right there. And it surprised me a little bit because Joe Torre said that the slider was his most important pitch, and I've always thought of Cone as a blazing fastball split finger pitcher with a good slider or an outstanding slider, but he just used it on occasion. And Joe Torre said to me that the slider was a key pitch, and obviously he's throwing a lot of those. That's that split finger. It almost looks like a screwball. He splits his fingers, lets the ball go, puts pressure on the pointing finger of his right hand, and that ball just ends up with rotation away from left-handed hitters. Very difficult to stay with.
So again to 2 strikes. Breaking ball up and out. 1-2. People forget that David Cone, maybe they don't forget, holds the National League record, tied with a couple other pretty big-time pitchers for most strikeouts in a game. 19.
I had forgotten that. I knew Seaver had 19, and Roger Clemens.
Well, Roger in the American League with 20 twice.
That's right.
Lefty. Seaver and lefty. In the National League, I believe that's right. And Cone. Those are the 3. Striker number 4, Ducey is frozen. So we know he can handle the bottom of the lineup. What about the top? Joey Cora, first pitch of the game.
Well, again, that ball was, right out over the plate and bad angle, and actually hit his glove and should have been caught. But I'm telling you right now, Chris, I've already seen enough of David Cone to know that he's healthy. Torre said that he was, and I told him, I said, well, I'm going to make that determination because sometimes managers don't tell you what they truly feel, but he's throwing the ball extremely well. Slider is really tight and crisp. Split finger, he's staying on top of it, and he's got some explosion with his fastball. That's that split finger. That thing is nasty.
The pitching is such a game of concentration, but I just wonder. David has to think almost twice as hard because he's thinking through the way he used to work. Not that he's thrown it all out the window.
Well, you know what I think is going to happen with him? I think that because he was ineffective early with cold weather and because he was worried about that circulation in his hand because of the aneurysm problem he had before, and he had the same type symptoms.
Boy, Cora is on it tonight. Drilled to center field for his second base hit.
To finish that thought, he had the same type symptoms with the aneurysm. So Torrey said that it wasn't so much that it was a real problem for him, it's just that it reminded him of his aneurysm problem because it started with a tingling in his fingers. And this spring, he thought that he was having a little tingle, and in the cold weather, they decided that it was basically the slickness of the baseball, and we saw in our open where he was blowing on his hand, and I think that's always in the back of his mind.
Sure.
But as soon as he gets to the point to where he knows he can let that ball go and feel the ball, then he's going to return to the same type pitcher he was before.
Struck Alex Rodriguez out in the first inning. Alex up, try to make amends.
I'm still on the way.
Two years of age. Amazing. That one's up top. You know, Coney's thrown over 2,200 innings in his career, right? I mean, that's, you know, sort of a workhorse.
No question. He's a guy that went out there to finish his games, and he just had a mindset, and he was the epitome of a staff ace. And you see right there, we grips that ball, and I had Hector Carrasco that had problems with circulation, and it creates havoc. But like you said, a guy that always was going to give you 8 innings and did not worry about how many pitches he threw. A lot like Nolan Ryan in that respect, a power pitcher that you never counted his pitches because he was not going to let you know when he was tired because he kept blowing, the gun kept showing 95. There's a split finger grip.
Foul back. I'll tell you something else that people always knew that he, you know, was a power pitcher. But he was over 2,000 strikeouts. Now that's a pretty good list right there. You know, number 2,000 was, by the way, last year.
Who was that?
McGuire.
Look at
2,200 innings, 2,000 strikeouts. That's bringing some heat. Can he do it again? Almost. Rodriguez just a piece of it. That close to striking out the side. Albeit Cora with a base hit in the middle.
You're going to see right here, this is that split finger. Watch how the bottom falls out of it there. He starts it off the plate. He knows it's going to tend to move back into the hitters. Generally more effective to left-handed hitters. He tends to go to the slider against right-handers. And I imagine he'll throw a slider right here. Probably bat away.
Skied by Rodriguez to center field. Bernie Williams moving over. And a much more impressive inning for David Cone this inning than was the first. 3-2 Seattle as we head to the bottom of inning number 2. Back at Yankee Stadium, bottom of the second inning. Mariners 3 in the first. Yankees 2 in the first. Now the bottom of the Yankee order will try to do some hitting against Jeff Fassero. Scott Brocious hitting 8. Joe Girardi 9, then to the top with Chuck Knobloch. Brocious came over not as an afterthought in the Kenny Rogers trade, but more the impetus was to get Rogers out of town. And he's a talented player and less of a microscope than New York. Maybe he would pitch well, but get someone who can play some third base. He's played more than some third base. Brocious flies out to Rob Ducey in right field. There's 1 out. Here's Dave in the studio.
Okay, Chris, bottom 7 at Fenway. Jim Leyritz giving the Red Sox a little bit of a cushion. His 5th homer of the year. This one coming off reliever Rich Robertson. 5-3 Boston. That's where it stands right now. So let's go back to Yankee Stadium.
But don't mention the name Jim Leyritz to Lou Piniella and the Mariners. He did some hitting in that series up there that the Mariners had in Boston. One of the bullpen implode series. Home run in the 9th inning. Little chopper by Girardi. A-Rod across to David Segui, and there are 2 outs. Well, our Sunday night baseball game, the Chicago White Sox at the Anaheim Angels. Frank Thomas, the big hurt, for whom the bell tolls, against the Angels with Jim Edmonds crashing into every wall. The White Sox and Angels. It's our Sunday night baseball at 8 o'clock Eastern Time with John and Joe. Now to the top of the order, and Chuck Knobloch. Knobloch fouled out to Russ Davis, third base in the first inning. Knobloch gives his whole lineup a different look and feel, doesn't he, Ray?
He does. Great competitor. The second game that I ever did for ESPN, I went to College Station and watched this young man play shortstop at Texas A&M, and I knew then he was going to be a very good player. Talked to him during that series. They were playing Texas, and got to spend some time with him. Knew the game extremely well, and I thought he could be a big league shortstop. They moved him to second base right away, and he's done a tremendous job.
Now, he and Jeter talk about a double play combination and hitting 1-2 in the lineup. You just penciled them in for about 150 games each for the season, right?
Well, you really can. Last year he played 156, 153 the year before. Has averaged over 150 games in his 9 years in the big leagues. He's been unbelievably consistent, Chris, hitting 312 in 94, 333, 95, 341, and then slipping to 291 last year, but has hit as many as 45 doubles and scored over 100 runs 4 times in his career.
Skies this one again in foul ground. Again to Russ Davis. And a much more impressive second inning for Jeff Fassero. We hit, we pitch. The third inning's coming up. Do we hit?
My idea, install a stereo system on the Jimmy Page Robert Plant tour bus.
You're in for a surprise.
Amazing!
Isn't it? And look at this installation. 1,650 watt amps. Tweeters for high, mid-ranges here, and subwoofers for powerful mix.
You can drive it, we can put tunes in it. Best Buy. Now that's a great idea.
Could I get a job on this tour?
4 tires, fuel, and out the door.
We asked the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirant.
Ultra dry degree, body heat activated.
When your body heat rises degrees, new Ultra Dry form releases extra protection.
Well, better than my old stick.
It kept me dry. Ultra dry.
New from Degree.
That's me, Bill. Here we are at the Super 8.
For reservations, call 1-800-800-8000.
It's a game of arms, legs, and feet, of force and finesse, where 9 men play 9 other men for 9 innings for just one reason: to come home one more time than the other guys. Major League Baseball. Don't miss a minute. Player stats, exclusive chats. The only way to get closer to the game is to be in the dugout. MajorLeagueBaseball.com. What a sight to see.
Top of the third inning in New York. The Mariners 3, the Yankees 2. We have a baseball hockey double dip for you. We throw the ball, and then we drop the puck. After this game, Game 4 of the Blues-Kings series from Los Angeles at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 on the coast. You talk about a wild finish. St. Louis down 3-0 in the third period of the last game 2 nights ago, scoring 4 goals on the same power play. Same major penalty power play. Brings back memories of the old days when even a 2-minute penalty in hockey, I know, Ray, you grew up a big hockey fan, even a 2-minute penalty in hockey, you didn't come out of the box when they scored a goal, and Maurice Richard used to score 3 goals during a 2-minute power play.
I know,
Speaking of all-stars, here's Junior Griffey.
I know a lot more about Griffey than I do about hockey.
That's my one chance to talk pucks, but here's Junior against David Cohn.
I don't know if the country knows how good a man this young man is right here. I remember him being in the clubhouse. I played with his father. Actually, the first year I played with him in '72 in Trois-Rivières, Canada, in AA with the Reds. And Kenny was just he probably was maybe a year old at that time. And then Craig came a couple years later, his brother. But Kenny Sr. was on my staff at Cincinnati. But what a great family. You know, you just don't know all the things that he does for charity and for people.
Whoa.
And for baseball.
Well, I mean, you can't see that. It's in a keep going, Ray. But I mean, that was about 10 rows from the top. I mean, it was way foul, but I mean, that got up there. That was up there in a hurry. 1-2 pitch to Junior. Oh man! But now I want to get to something Barfield told me. He said, you see how when he's pulling the ball that much, that means he's overthinking the inside pitches. He said, there's your sign. Junior doesn't pull. I mean, these balls are way foul and hammered.
Well, what happens, they come to you inside so often that you start looking in there, and then you react to that ball, and you hit them foul because there's no way to keep that ball fair and hit it on the big part of the bat. But he is most effective when he gets the ball out away from him, as most big hitters are. They like the ball to extend those arms and get the ball out over the plate.
Hit to center field. Bernie Williams going to be there. And Junior is gone. A sigh of relief in the crowd here in New York because they know what Junior and the Mariners can do at times, the Yankee pitching. Our in-game box score, of course, the hitting star thus far for the Mariners, Joey Cora. Tripled and singled thus far. The big blow, a 2-run single by David Segui in the first inning. Edgar also hit a rope in the first inning. Speaking of who? Edgar Martinez comes into the game, hitting .331 lifetime against Yankee pitching. 15 home runs.
And he's hit 300 against everybody.
But remember that one game in the playoffs, the division series? Grand slam and a 3-run homer in the 4th game. And of course, Jovin Jr. with the winning run in the extra inning in Game 5. Jovin 2 on that play.
It takes a real special talent, Hal McRae and Edgar Martinez, to DH. I could never have been a DH. I was so hyper. I had to be involved in the game. I would have not had any fingernails, and the manager would have been worn out with me walking up and down around.
You hyper?
Oh, man. Yes, sir.
Because of that year you had at Trois-Rivières.
Yes, sir. I had 2 years there, in fact.
And that's why you're hyper. Hey, you never got fired up as a manager, did you?
No.
I didn't think so. Little number. Going nowhere.
I was always fired up as a manager.
I know that. I'm being facetious.
I was always fired up as a player. I just, I loved the game of baseball, and it was something that we all in America can do as 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. Got to play a game and then was blessed with enough talent and lucky enough to get to do it for my whole life. Now we get to talk about it and get to see these stadiums. And
a big relief last night when Randy Johnson, who once again in his 11th straight series will miss the Yankees. He hadn't pitched against the Yankees for a while, but Randy got the win last night. They won at Kansas City. He had an interesting start to the season, big fella. 9-3 lead on opening day. He gave up 3 runs to make it 9-6. The bullpen couldn't hold it. Left in Boston with a 7-2 lead in the 9th inning. 7 guys got to the plate. All 7 got hits. They lost it. Fired a ball at Kenny Lofton as meanwhile Edgar strikes out. So I mean, he's had a rather eventful first month.
Well, you mentioned that
Contract deal?
Yeah. You mentioned that Kenny Lofton deal. It was funny. He was suspended. And I'll get back to that. But right here, this is a real good slider. Just right there, going down. Didn't get on top of it. Just took something off of it, and Edgar punches out. But Randy, funny, he said that how are you going to pitch Lofton next time you face him? He said, I'm going to pitch him just the way I faced him last time. And I thought that was...
You said maybe closer.
Well, you know, he got suspended for that incident. And but I tell you what, that's a guy right there that takes no prisoners and doesn't care who knows it either.
0-1 the count to David Segui.
But I guess when you're 6'8" and you throw about 108, you put a little fright in you.
Yeah. He's back on track with that win last night. Mariners hoping to get to 500 here if they can win tonight. Coney has struck out 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and he's 0-2 on David Segui, and if he punches him out, getting 2 in the third.
He's really changing speeds well this inning. Spotting the ball. There you see 79 mile an hour. We'll kind of follow the mile power. I remember Warren Spahn once said that the key to hitting is timing, and the key to pitching is going off that timing. And you do it by changing pitches, changing speeds on pitches, and David does it as well as anybody when he's right.
Fastball, is there room for Brocious? The swirling winds down the line. Got 5 rows back. Not far from the dreaded Section 22, Row 2, Seat 7. Thank goodness there was no game going on at the time.
Oh, man.
500-pound stanchion joint fell right on the seat. Obviously, fans know it's not news. The Yankees postponed a couple games, played a game at Shea against Anaheim, switched the series with Detroit, and that's not where it fell. But, you know, as you said, inside the city, you had an interesting comment about, said, you know, George Steinbrenner sat in his seat when they reopened the stadium Friday night.
Yeah, I would have sat in that seat, too. It was just the one next to it. I wouldn't have sat.
Well, because there's no beam above
There's no beam above. But it's really weird that it fell when there were nobody here,
Thank goodness.
you know, at the ballpark. Thank goodness. But you feel all the pressure and all the people up there in that upper deck, and then nobody there, and it just all of a sudden collapses with no stress.
Little nubber. Cone signals to Girardi, I have it. He does. Over to Martinez. And a 1-2-3 inning for David Cone. Heading to the bottom of inning number 3. Home run man Derek Jeter coming up.
Go, babe.
Something amazing.
Team scored in the first inning. Now the Yankees have a chance to try to knock this thing. Derek Jeter had a solo home run off Jeff Fassero in the first inning. And he got that up into the wind tunnel out to left field, right?
He did. He did. Mentioned earlier, and he didn't possess the power of Alex Rodriguez. Rodriguez having hit 36 home runs, but when you get that ball up above the belt, a lot of people have power.
Derek with 10 homers last year, 10 his rookie year. 3 this year. Shows bunt, pulls it back. Ball 1 from Fassero. Jeter, Raines, and Bernie Williams here in the Yankee third. Derek is hit everywhere in this lineup. I mean, he started as a rookie hitting 9th. I mean, in the World Championship season of '96, I think he hit everywhere but 3 and 4, maybe not 5, but at least 6 of the 9 spots he hit in. Last year was pretty much leadoff man. The adjustment to the second spot. He doesn't, says, you know, I just hit, I'll change a little bit. Do you think it's a huge adjustment for him to make this year?
Well, you know, I hit in Cincinnati, I hit second for a half season because Davey Concepcion didn't like hitting there behind Dave Collins, who ran a lot. And it's a big adjustment. You have to take a lot of pitches. You think a lot about hitting the ball the right side. You go deep in the count when there's a runner on first base to allow that runner to steal. You have to be a droid handler of the bat, a good bunter. So there's definitely a different philosophy hitting second, a different mindset.
That will just be fouled on the right field. And one thing Derek has done a little more this year, which is not good, he struck out 24 times. The next most on the Yankees thus far is 15. Now, certainly in the 2-hole, that number is more of your power hitter type number if you strike out. Okay? He's got to, and he will put the bat on the ball more, but that's not been great so far.
No, it's not. And I think as he gets older and more mature as a hitter, he will be more contact conscious. Something that's missing a lot today in big league baseball. People don't fear striking out.
It's only walked 5 times, too, so those numbers will change, though. Try to move to different spots and just adapt.
Well, I don't know that they'll change with him for the next couple of years because he's a slasher and he feels that he's a better hitter when he goes up there and sees the ball and reacts to it. So the point that you make is valid. Over a period of time, you will adjust to that 2-hole.
Inside and an inside-out swing, and that's foul.
But the thing about it, Chris, is when you're leading off an inning or you're just another hitter. It's when you're hitting in the 2-hole and something is happening on the bases in front of you, it creates a problem for you. There's Chuck Knobloch, a great leadoff hitter, and although he's only hitting .230, he's been on base about 36% of the time, and a great addition to this ball club.
Ripped to right center field. Griffey will have to run it down, but after it hits the wall. Jeter is thinking 3, now thinks better of it as Junior comes up with that quickly into Cora. So a homer and a double for Derek Jeter.
Well, he's swinging the bat well. That was a rocket, just a pretty execution of an inside-out swing on a fastball down and in. Shot that ball to right field. If he has that approach with 2 strikes, he's going to be a tough out. Watch this ball cut into him. It's a pitch that starts out over the plate and gets over the middle and the inside-outside ball, brings his hands down and in and stays on the ball beautifully and laces that ball to right center and does the right thing with nobody out, not taking a chance, making the first out at third base.
So Jeter in scoring position with the tying run. That'll bring up Timmy Raines.
Let's see if Tim Raines here plays a little bit of National League baseball, and he should try to hit the ball to the right side. Here, even though he's hitting in the 3-hole, he should look for a ball away and try to get Jeter over to third base with 1 out. And what that does, Chris, it doesn't take away from your offensive production because a hitter like Timmy Raines hits the ball well to the right side. You're not giving yourself up.
Shows bunt, pitch up top for a ball.
Well, I've got no problem with that. If you, as a hitter, feel like you want to get that runner over, the manager gives you the sign to get the runner over, and you feel like you can bunt him over better than hit him over, then you get the bunt down and do the job.
He's trying to hit that to the right side. You know, one thing that the Yankees have not done this year, only 4 sacrifice bunts. They haven't squeezed at all. They did quite a bit of that 2 years ago when they won it.
And that's because Joe Torre thinks his offense is a much better offense and that they can produce runs in bunches as opposed to manufacturing runs. But in this situation, get Coney back in the game and get that runner over there.
Shows bunt, pulls it away, 2-1.
2-1 is a great hitting count here, and don't forget about Jeter at second base either. He's out there trying to figure out what the catcher's flashing, and he get a good jump. He can steal third base even with nobody out. It's not something that we getting a small lead.
That one will find the seats down the right field line, but again, boy, he's timing it pretty well, almost too well. You can see he's, okay, swing, no, let me wait a minute, wait a second, and hit it to the right side.
Yeah, well, he's letting the ball get back to him as the professional hitter that he is. And what you'll see now, probably with 2 strikes, he'll probably just go to protective mode and try to make contact and not be so aware of the right side.
Good pitch by Facero. Raines strikes out. Let's check in with Dave Revsey.
Indians and A's, Chris, Jared Wright, been struggling a little bit this year, although the Indians are 4-1 in his 5 starts. Matt Stairs elevating in the third, his 4th of the year. 3-2 ace, that's where it stands in the 4th.
What would have happened if Matt Stairs ever hit against Floyd Bannister? It's just thought.
A little up and down.
Up and down? It's
Yeah,
a very up and down season. Bernie Williams walked in the first.
Step.
Just a thought. While we ponder it, Bernie Williams will try it against Jeff Fassero.
Jeter not getting a very big lead, Chris, at second. You're going to notice that when people steal bases, they try to work a lead. They start off with a primary lead about 4 steps off the bag, and then they work a lead when they're trying to steal third. With this lead right here, he has no thought in his mind stealing third. He's getting a little bit more expanded lead, but he cannot steal third from that spot.
Well, he's already had 9, as you saw. He just had 23 last year. So, again, if you weren't with us at the outset, the Yankees lead the major leagues in stolen bases. Now, I mean, just think, the New York Yankees lead the majors in stolen bases. You know, they already. Russ Davis checks the runner. Over to David Seguin, draws him off the bag.
Well, you don't have to check the runner there. You don't have to check the runner at all. Ball hit hard at you like that, right at you at third base. The runner's not coming. He's got no way to come. You just come up and fire the ball to first base. Segui didn't try to get back on this ball.
What was that?
I don't know. I just think that the fact he gave up on the ball, and the ball was probably cutting. But when a ball hits you right like that, you don't even have to check the runner. And he didn't. He didn't check the runner. He's got no chance to get back.
No, he had
no chance.
Second Mariner error of the night. And now runners at first and second for Tino Martinez. Who drove in the second Yankee run in the first inning with a base hit, scoring Timmy Raines. Try and do the same thing.
Talking about solid defenses, Russ Davis, that was his 8th error this season. That's a lot of errors for this early in the season. And he's had a tough time making those throws, just routine throws. He's been erratic all year thus far.
Count is 1-1. And old Tino was a longtime Mariner. Obviously, he and Jeff Fassero were never teammates. Really never saw him, obviously. Fassero was an Expo.
Fassero tried to get him out with a slider last time and hung it. Tino drove in 2 runs with it.
I would just think that Fassero is a tough pitcher for Tino, although Tino with a base hit. I mean, in the 3 games that Fassero won against the Yankees last year, Tino only went 2 for 13 against them. Of course, his hit now makes him 3 for 14. You can overlook those stats, but I would think this would be a tough matchup for Tino.
Well, I would think so, because if Fassero gets that slider where he wants to, not very many left-handers are going to hit it, because it's so tight breaking and breaks really big. But Tino has that great batting eye and the ability to cover the plate. His bat's very quick, so he doesn't really worry about the fastball too much inside. He just fights that ball off. You'll see him foul off as many pitches as anybody in the game. It's a thrill to watch he and Paul O'Neill hit back-to-back, how they work the pitch and foul balls off.
Little chopper and a smart base running play by Bernie Williams. And Cora figured, well, of course, he could have gone to second, as you know, and gotten the force there, but Bernie Williams, by just halting, eliminated any chance of a double play. Cora seemed confused.
Well, I don't think that was a double play ball, but you still have to get the lead runner on this play. He comes and charges this ball. Bernie starts, and then he stops right there, and all Cora has to do is stop and make a throw. I mean, he's still 25 feet from second base, so that is not a good play.
I
Not a
didn't
good decision.
understand that at all. So as a result, 2 runners in scoring position, albeit with 2 outs for Chad Curtis. Struck out looking in the first inning. You know, the Mariners have some Gold Glovers or some Gold Glove level people. Obviously, Junior Griffey. Obviously, Jay Buhner, who's not here tonight, out for 2 months, and we wish him well. His knee surgery this week will start his rehab on Friday, and I understand what that is. Dan Wilson, an exceptional catcher.
Segui is as good as it gets.
Segui is excellent at first base, and we're going to talk about him later, but the rest is not stellar. Is that a fair statement?
That's fair. Russ Davis has had a problem. Cora has a lot of range and will boot balls on occasion and is not known as a great defensive player, but he makes outstanding plays too, so he's just a little inconsistent out there. His value to a ball club is obviously his offensive prowess, his ability to get on base and score runs to set up for this high-powered offense.
Base hit will give the Yankees the lead for the first time tonight. Cicero up top, 2-1.
Well, this is a situation where a pitcher with first base open with 2 outs has his choice to Curtis, get him out, or go on to the next hitter. And what he'll do right here is he'll try to make a pitch. It's a hitter's count, so he's going to try to throw a changeup or bust a fastball in off the plate. He certainly will not give in to Curtis, I don't think, with first base open.
Ripped to left field. Back he goes. Back. Gone!
Well, he didn't, and that's what happened.
Home run number 3 on the year for Chad Curtis. David Cone is working with the lead as the Yankees lead it 5-3. Lou Piniella knows should have been out of the inning. All the runs are unearned, but that doesn't change the merry men in the Yankee dugout.
No, it doesn't. That's just a tough, really a bad pitch. There's no other way to say it. Just a bad pitch in a situation when you don't have to throw a strike. You're 2-1 with first base open. To throw a pitch like this is just not thinking. That's just a hanging, nothing, breaking ball that has built-in elevation, and he deposited out there 360 feet away. But Becerra is a lot smarter pitcher than that and seldom makes that type of mistake. You know what I mean, Chris?
Yeah,
I mean, you got first base open. You got a guy that's hot as a pistol, 2-1, fastball count. You just don't make a pitch that he can hit. You throw the ball somewhere off the plate, or you trick him with a changeup, but you don't throw and he didn't intend to do it. But it's just where great pitchers become great is when they make pitches in situations like that with bases open.
Now he's behind 3-0 to Jorge Posada. That's an anger fastball.
Well, you know, and what happens, you talk about rhythm, and we talked about Cicero getting off to a slow start and finding his rhythm. Nothing will break up a rhythm worse than shabby defensive play, because it forces you to throw more pitches.
There's a base hit by Posada. It'll go for extra bases all the way to the wall. Griffey up with it. Third extra base hit of the inning for the Yankees.
Sarah just starting to get the ball out over the plate, not using the outside part or the inside part of the plate, getting the ball fat down the heart of the plate. Guys are shooting the ball to the gap. but when he did make pitches, the defense didn't make the plays for him. And I believe that pitchers only have so much concentration ability, just like golfers. It's so tough to go out there and throw 120 pitches in the right spot. And when you start having things to happen behind you that are negative, it creates concentration problems.
Heathcliff Slocum, who is now middle relief as they rejumble the bullpen, is up throwing. And if you take a look at the scores, Bulls way ahead. They'll move right on to the next round. Red Sox have stretched that lead a little bit. But Texas is high. Fastball, 1-1, misses. The Orioles finally with a lead. And there's Stan Williams, the new pitching coach, 61 years young, and not as hard a handshake as anyone I know.
Oh, man, he's a bull, and he was the guy that started actually formed that bullpen in Cincinnati, the Nasty Boys. He was a pitching coach for Lou Piniella and that championship team in 1990.
Stan Williams used to hit pitchers, hit that at 3-0 counts. Used to hit him because his contract involved some incentives, which involved lack of base on ball. So 3-0 ball, drill the guy.
Well, I think he's really helped the staff because of that aggressive attitude that he has.
Cicero strikes out Brocious, but not until the damage was done. 3 extra base hits for the Yankees, the biggest. A 3-run homer for Chad Curtis, which was a no-doubter. And for the first time tonight, the Yankees have the lead. It's 5-3. ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach. Yankees lead at 5-3 here in the top of the 4th inning. Chris Berman along with Ray Knight. Glad you could join us on Wednesday Night Baseball. Chad Curtis, 3-run homer. The Yankees the lead. Derek Jeter homered in the 1st inning. Now David Cone will try and protect a 2-run lead.
We're talking about pitch count somewhere between 85 and 100. He better be very efficient in these next 3 innings because he's already at 67 pitches, Chris. So he's averaging a little over 22 pitches an inning, and that'll get him out of there at the 5th inning.
Well, but the last 2 innings were he faced 4 batters and then 3 batters last inning as he goes against Glenn Allen Hill, Dan Wilson, Russ Davis, 6, 7, 8. Glenn Allen, Gergich Hill, always with a, well, people thought he would be good vintage, dare I say. Came up in Toronto, traded to Cleveland, San Francisco, and thought big things from him. He's been a nice player. He's never been a star, which, by the way, most people aren't. But he came up with, he's one of those young ones when Toronto was winning the World Championships a couple of years, and there's really no room for him there.
I think a lot of times what happens in that situation is you get young talent with winning ball clubs, and they're overvalued.
He can hit, though.
Oh, he can flat out hit.
Rips up the middle for a base hit. Let's check out with Dave in the studio.
In Chicago, Sidney Ponson making his first Major League start for the Orioles. Remember, Ben McDonald and Mike Mussina both made their first Major League starts against the White Sox, and Mussina was victimized by that. A Frank Thomas homer, so was Ponson, and then he was victimized by an Albert Bell homer right after that. Then Will Cordero hit one for Chicago, too. They're now even at 4, bottom of the 3rd.
The Orioles have not gotten out of the gates very well. The starting pitching is struggling, certainly with Mussina on the DL, now Kamenicki on the DL. Glenn Allen Hill at first base, and Dan Wilson is really overvalued.
Well, when great organizations like the Mets, when they were winning, and obviously Toronto when they're winning, people value their players, and every trade talk, they overvalue or they state that their young players are really great, and because they can't push these veterans out, it happened in New York, obviously, with guys like Herm Winningham and Jefferson and Lenny Dykstra. When those guys were coming along, they said these are great young players, and Jefferson and Winningham never really did anything, but other clubs really valued them great because the Mets were winning, and they kept boosting them and saying they're great players. And all the publications, there's Strawberry, one of those great Mets. But Shane Abner was also another one of those center fielders that the Mets were just always building up, and other teams bought it, and they traded for those type people, and they never really established themselves in the big leagues.
You know, looking at Darryl Strawberry as an aside, what a season he's had so far. It was fitting that the game the Yankees played at Chase Stadium that he hit a home run. I thought that was perfect. The apple came up there, but they couldn't quite show New York Mets. They hit the homer, it came halfway up, and then that was the end. 1-1 pitch to Dan Wilson. Did he go? Yes, he did. And not only has Strawberry had 5 homers, which, by the way, leads the Yankees. Here's the stat I love about Straw this year. 4 stolen bases.
Well, Joe Torre said that he knows how to steal bases. Darryl Strawberry knows how to play baseball. He was as fine a young talent as I've ever been around, and I was around some great young talent. But when he came up, wow.
Now, Coney looks a little different than he did in the first inning as Dan Wilson is rung up for strikeout number 6.
Well, this is just a fastball on the outside part. Again, just threading the needle out there right through Joe Girardi. Comeback fastball ball that actually starts off the plate, moves back, and catches the outside part of the plate. And Lou says that ball was outside with a couple of others.
Oh, yeah. All right. Wilson will sit, and Russ Davis comes up and struck out in the second inning against Coney. Take a good look at Lou when we get a shot in a minute. I don't know how he does this. He always, this year we saw him on opening day, he's got about a 2-day-old beard.
Yeah,
now, it's hard to shave and keep a 2-day-old beard. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when it gets to 4 days, do you shave it back to just 2 days?
Just when he had TV games.
That?
TV games. When he knows you're on TV.
Well, it's like you and me with our hair.
Yeah.
We were rivaling each other, see who could get to the shoulders. But look, take a look. That's like about a good day or 2 beard, but I've seen Lou a couple times this year, and it's always 2 days old.
Yeah, it is.
That's a skill. Now, that's a skill. He's looking for an endorsement, possibly. Certainly some razor company's going to give him a ring tomorrow.
When he came out of the dugout, he said that he was just going to get out of here as quick as he can. I think he had all the New York that he wanted when he was here before.
Count is 2-1 to Russ Davis. Now, I will tell you this. Lou and I, we had a game with the Mariners here last year, and we talked about it again at the cage. I talked with Lou for a while. He says it is very special for him to come back here. He enjoys it, and he enjoys beating the Yankees in New York. With no bad feelings, but yet he's on his toes a little more against New York, and he loves coming here. Fans really liked him here, and for good reason. Count is 2-2.
Well, they did. Not very many players are honored here with their own day, and when he retired, the year that he retired, they had a Lou Piniella Day, and that's a great tribute to a man that wore number 14 here with the great Yankee Ball Club.
Managed here. Davis has struck out for the second time. 7 strikeouts for David Cone.
Well, the slider's really biting, and if that's the barometer, he's all the way back. His fastball's been clocked to 92 tonight, and Joe Torre said that the slider was the key. Here we see Girardi sitting outside, and he starts the slider right there, and it just goes down and away. And he has 2 types of slider. He has that slider that's flat, and he has a slider that, when he gets on top of it, it tends to go down. That was more of the down breaker.
As Rob A.C. Ducey swings and misses, strike 1.
Split finger, 81 miles an hour again. Change of speeds, fastball is 91, 92, slider 77, 76, and then the split finger 81. That's very difficult to time and get on a guy that has that much of a variance in his 3 pitches.
Glenn Allen Hill at first base. He led the inning off with a single, but has not moved. right to Chuck Knobloch. Tino Martinez. And another 4-batter inning for David Cone. So Coney pitching with a lead for the first time. Has a nice inning. 5-3 Yanks.
Champions and legends who paved the way for one of America's great sports, NASCAR. Join us from the historic Wiltern Theater for NASCAR's Night in Hollywood, a golden celebration, Saturday at 7 on ESPN.
Bottom of the fourth, the Yankees lead the Mariners 5-3 here at Yankee Stadium. Chad Curtis's 3-run home run in the bottom of the third inning. The big blow took a 3-2 Mariner lead and turned it into a 5-3 Yankee lead. Joe Girardi, number 9 hitter, will lead it off, then Knobloch and Jeter. There's Curtis. Who's had a no-doubter for homer number 3 in the last inning. Girardi's been you mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, Girardi's kind of an overlooked, and he's not hitting well this far this year, but Joe Torre, the manager, Don Zimmer, the bench coach. 89 was the rookie. Cubs won the division, postseason. Caught with Colorado when Zimmer was on John Baylor's staff the year Colorado made the postseason. Of course, a couple of years here, so he understands the pressures of postseason, and maybe it stops not to be a coincidence that pitchers and he are in a zone together, even though he's certainly not an all-star catcher.
Well, he's an all-star catcher when it comes to handling pitchers.
Well, that's right. Cone, by the way, has only pitched to him thus far this year, Girardi. 3-1 to Joe Girardi.
There are a lot of pitchers out there that feel comfortable with a particular catcher. As we remember Steve Carlton and Tim McCarver. They always made the joke they were going to bury McCarver 60 feet 6 inches away from Carlton.
From lefty. There's Andy Pettit. Outdueled Roger Clemens Monday night, 1-0. He took another shot off the leg.
Well, I got to talk to Andy this spring when we did that spring training special down in Orlando at Disney World, and what a great young man he is. I really enjoyed talking to him. I have not had the privilege to meet him and get to know him, and I just was really impressed with him.
Fouled away. Count is full to Girardi. Will lead off the fourth inning.
Getting back to that catching thought, the most important factor of any ball club is their pitching staff, and obviously the Yankees, without Cone throwing well and without Mariano Rivera, David Wells has done a tremendous job, as has Pettit, and Hideki Arabu has thrown a couple of outstanding games. But the bullpen has been so solid, and you can go right to Joe Girardi, and they often, pitching coaches get the credit, or managers get the credit, or pitching staffs get the credit, but you cannot pitch well if you're not comfortable with your catcher.
Ripped to center field, back it goes. Griffey at the track, makes the catch. That ball went a long way, maybe as far as 385, 390 feet. But it goes as an out, and there's one down. Our in-game box score, 4 extra base hits for the Yankees, 3 coming in the third inning. Jeter with a solo homer in the first. Of course, Chad Curtis with a big 3-run home run. Tino Martinez with an RBI single in the first inning. Williams still yet to get a safety tonight as his struggles continue. So the top of the order to Chuck Knobloch.
Well, this ballpark has been a graveyard to right-handed batters, and mentioned Jeter not having the power of Rodriguez. Rodriguez having a lot better ballpark to hit in. This ballpark is humongous. 399 in left center field, which is the power area of your right-handed hitters. And a big 408 out there in center field.
Yes.
And it's been a graveyard. for a
But
right-handed bat.
remember you and I had a conversation on what the old Yankee Stadium was like, which I was fortunate enough to maybe cover 30 to 40 times before they changed it. You know what center field was then?
Tell
Well,
me.
you've read this.
440?
463.
Mercy.
You know what left center was? Left center.
410?
457.
Mercy.
457, where that is...
That's where the monuments are
well,
now,
that's
right?
where the tree is. Now, we wasn't here when it was there. It was remodeled in the mid-70s. 457 to left. I remember one time, and I don't want to get carried away. Of course, the monuments used to be in play in dead center field. They were right in front of the 463 sign. Remember, Carl Yastrzemski hit one that I forget it was in center field at the time for the Yankees. Made a catch leaning on the monument. So he hit one 455 and it was an out. You got to be kidding me. So Ruth Gehrig and those monuments were in Miller Huggins.
Roger Maris. He didn't hit many that way, though. He hit right over that 314 sign.
Well, Gehrig and Miller Huggins and Ruth were the big monuments at that time. Still are. Rip but foul. Now, let me give you another little lesson about Yankee Stadium.
Talk to me, brother.
Right field.
Right.
Do you think 314 is short?
I might can go that deep now.
296. 296.
And wasn't the
left field was about? I remember all these others exactly. I think left was 301.
But wasn't the wall shorter too in right field? Because I remember.
Yes. It's very short. 3-2 pitch to Knobloch, and he draws a base on balls to his short. Al Kaline and Frank Robinson playing right field used to go in the seats routinely to make plays. So with all that history, Chuck Knobloch very nicely worked the base on balls. But how about that 296 to 463? You got to be kidding me. Knobloch aboard, and here's Derek Jeter, the hitting star tonight, a home run on a double. One of the hitting stars.
Well, you think it was coincidental that Ruth and Gehrig and only DiMaggio, they talked about DiMaggio and his home runs, that he would have hit 500 home runs had he not been right-handed. But most of the big hitters here have always been left-handed.
No. Sarah will keep an eye on Knobloch. 75th year of Yankee Stadium. They were to have a celebration, but it was the series that was moved to Detroit. Oops. Knobloch at first, 5-3 Yankee lead. One out, bottom four. Smoked to left field. Glenn Allen Hill is there. Knobloch back to first. Boy, Jeter's been on it all 3 times tonight. You like that little... Like a little history lesson?
I really do.
That was not prepared. That was...
Well, today when we were walking through the stadium here, I had never been the route that you took.
Really?
And that was all those corridors.
The Babe walked down there.
Oh, man.
From the Babe to the Rock, Tim Raines singled and scored, struck out. 1 for 2 tonight. They're Knobloch on first base, and I'm looking at a player like Raines, and we talk about the way they go deeper in the count than any other team, Ray, and the way they can hit with 2 strikes and the different things they do. Chuck told me, I said, what's impressed you? You know, you've been here a Yankee a month. What's your biggest impression? He says how 25 guys work hard every day. We win, we won 8 in a row. Okay, today's work's done. Now what do we have to do? Now batting practice and fielding is all not so serious that it's not fun.
Well,
but everybody goes about it in a way that makes me proud to be a member of the club. I mean, he jumped out of his mouth at that time.
Well, you talked about the tradition, but you look at the staff that they have in this ball club. Not only Joe Torre and Don Zimmer, but Chris Chambliss, Willie Randolph, tremendous Yankees, tremendous work ethic, and you know, you end up having those type of people around you, it's instantaneous. Mel Stottlemyre, Coney Clottinger is down there in the bullpen. Guys that have had big league success and that are hard-working, no-nonsensical guys. You get these kind of attitudes.
And a 17-6 record. Breaking ball, misses inside, 2-0. David Cone, since the first inning when he gave up the 3 runs, has been on top of it. Have to keep an eye on his pitch count as we go, but remember, except for the first inning,
he's at 82 pitches right now,
well,
so we will. He's getting into that area that we've talked about. We're going to see what Joe does.
well, I'm sure he wants to go at least the full 5.
Well, he'll go 5. I mean,
well, unless he gets bombed this inning. Pitching to see if he has like about an 11 pitch inning when we let him go 6.
Well, I think that's what Joe's going to do. He said that he was going to read him, and what that means is he's going to watch his stuff and let him go as far as his stuff will allow him to go.
Fassero trying to work the outside, gets the strike on range, 3-1.
See if Knobloch goes here on a 3-1 count with 2 outs, or if he waits to 3-2. A lot of times base stealers will try to start 3-1 in case the guy gets a ball to handle and he can score on a double. The thought there is if he throws the ball over the plate, he knows that Timmy Raines is going to be swinging. If it's a ball, he's taking it, be on second base anyway.
Been a curious outing tonight for Fassero, hadn't it? Especially the pitch to Curtis.
Yeah, that was really the only bad pitch he made. The other bad plays defensively hurt him.
Second walk of the inning, Raines to first, Knobloch to second, and that'll bring up Bernie Williams. And drawing a walk or taking the count deep is nothing new as Stan Williams works the phone. The Yankees lead in pitches per plate appearance.
Well, yeah, they do, and then that shows you a veteran ball club, and mentioned Paul O'Neill and Tino Martinez, how they fight, pitches off, and go deep in the count. And the only guy that really doesn't do it is Jeter. Jeter's the guy that's a free swinger and doesn't see a whole lot of pitches. And tonight, he's swinging the bat, and he may be the guy that reaps from all this. Guys throwing the ball around the plate and him being a free swing and hitting bullets.
Fassero didn't see Cora. Cora actually was in there very quickly, and had that been a timing play, they might have had a shot at Knobloch.
Well, it generally is a timing play, unless he's talking about the umpire moving over there. The umpire's in his vision of the home plate. Then I'll be there play, which can come from the catcher or basically just a hand signal he's breaking. But Chuck's not going to go anywhere with 2 outs.
Yankees lead the Mariners 5-3. Bottom of the 4th inning. Big 3-run homer from Chad Curtis in the 3rd inning off of Jeff Fassero. The Yankees battle back from a 3-0 deficit before they'd even come up. Seattle hung a 3 spot in the 1st. Now David Cone and the Yankees lead Jeff Fassero and the Mariners 5-3 as Bernie Williams has 2 runners aboard. Chris Berman and Ray Knight, glad you could join us here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx.
He's starting to really struggle with his breaking ball now. His fastball he seems to still be crisp with, but his breaking ball, his last 4 or 5 have been rolling type breaking balls, so he's getting underneath the ball a little bit and causing the ball to come out a lot flatter. A little better one there.
Fassero got the only win in the postseason last year for the Mariners in what was a Slocum is now up throwing again, and what was certainly a disappointing appearance in the postseason for the Mariners, losing 3 games to 1 to the Orioles, but down 2-0 after losing the 2 at home. Here they go into Baltimore, and Fassero throws a gem, like a 3-hitter through 8 innings. So he's been calm in the storm before. And he punches out Bernie Williams with 2 runners aboard and keeps it a 2-run game. We've played 4 here in New York. South Top of the order, coming up for the Mariners. They trail it by a pair.
Hey, pull me back. Oh, that feels pretty good. What's this stuff? I'm not going there. No way. Forget about it. Hey, come on. I got an image to uphold here.
Only your Sherwin-Williams store has Super Paint. It's guaranteed for 20 years against peeling, blistering, and fading.
Oh, yeah. Now that's the good stuff, baby.
When only the best will do. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
Hey, good looking. Want to go for a little spin?
I got it. Daddy's waiting. Come on, baby.
Need sunglasses? Get a prescription pair free when you buy any pair of glasses, now at Pearl Vision.
The nest is empty. Your work is done.
So powerful.
It's time to kick back and have some fun.
So agile.
You got the car now.
DeVille with the North Star system.
For who you are now, you're making whoopee.
DeVille for the time of your life.
Oh, look at you.
Folks, let's talk about how important it is to pledge your support to the Miller Lite Racing team.
Mary, we have a caller.
Hi, this is Nancy from the county library.
Go ahead, Nancy.
I'd like to challenge all librarians to 6 cases.
6 cases? Nancy, you must really like beer.
No, not really. But that Rusty Wallace has a really nice...
Oh, Mary, now that's a real race fan for you.
Top of the 5th, David Cone of the Yankees lead the Mariners 5-3, and he's been a different pitcher, Ray Knight, since the first inning.
Yeah, after 3 runs in the first, they let him off the hook here. Fastball inside, split finger down, comes back with a nasty slider, then a fastball inside, freezes, and comes back with another slider, then another fastball, and then another slider for 7 punch-outs. Outstanding. It let him off the hook, 3 runs in the first inning, and he's been almost unhittable since.
Top of the order for the Mariners here in the 5th inning, Cora, Alex Rodriguez, and Ken Griffey. Cora led off the game with a first pitch triple and scored on an error by Scott Brocious, then singled in the second. Told you earlier that he began the season with a 16-game hitting streak. He had a 24-game hitting streak last season when he hit 300 and was an all-star. Knobloch to Martinez makes the stretch, 1 out. What a beautiful day and nice evening for baseball here in New York. I mean, we've been blessed here in the Northeast where March was 75 and 80 degrees the weekend before the season started. You know, good to bring the kids in. You don't have to bring them out here with the ski coats and everything. It still is April. It's 70 degrees in New York today. Same tomorrow. Alex Rodriguez struck out, flew out to Bernie Williams in center field.
Well, he's really got that slider working now, throwing around 78, 79 miles an hour, starting hitters off with it. And after that first inning has become pitch efficient, that's his 87th pitch. And 34 of them were in the first inning, so he's settled down and looks very, very solid to me. And that means trouble for everybody else. You see the 88 pitches that he's thrown.
So you're telling me that if 100's the number, that this will be it. Although, how many in the first inning? Well, about 30.
He left himself. Joe left himself an out. He said 85 to 100, but he was going to read his arm, and by that he means he's going to watch him. They've got 85 to 100 in their mind, but if his stuff dictates to him, Joe Torre, that he's still throwing well, and he talks to Girardi, that he may let him go a little farther. Of those 88 pitches, 62 have been for strikes, 26 for balls. That's 3-1. That's an outstanding ratio.
2-2 the count on A-Rod with Ken Griffey on deck. It's the second straight night game that Cone has pitched. They were concerned that with the colder temperatures, with the feeling problem you talked about, with the aneurysm a year and a half ago. And Jeter long throw out his counterpart over to Tino Martinez, 2 outs. The reason I bring up the night game is David had a great comment. He said, I want to pitch the night game. I don't want to be another day in the rotation. I'm a night person anyway.
I don't know if that's true now, but when he was a young man,
yes, I think that might have been true. The boos for Junior Griffey.
Well, that's just the ultimate sign of respect. I remember when Pete Rose, I first broke in with the Reds, he was booed everywhere that he went. And it's just the ultimate sign of respect because other teams hate to see this guy up at the plate.
Well, the Yankees hate to see him up. He's hit 25 home runs as he just got plunked on the foot. 25 home runs against the Yankees alone. So again, they're working him inside, so far inside that Cone hit him.
Well, it's obvious to me they're trying to work him inside. This is a slider that he tries to bury down and in, and it just keeps going, hits him right on the tip of the toe, and that doesn't feel good.
A nice-looking toenail tomorrow morning.
Oh, man. I mean, right there. There's no protection there, just soft leather. Sometimes that canvas-type top, whatever kind Griff wants with Nike.
He's at 325 against the Yankees, and Edgar Martinez is at 331. These guys still remember 95 like it was yesterday, these Yankee pitchers. Certainly David Cone does. And these two guys, a two-man wrecking crew.
Starting to get under the ball a little bit. Last 2 pitches, he's dropped his arm down and gotten underneath the ball instead of keeping his arm angle up and his hand above the baseball. It's actually where the hand is as opposed to the arm angle, Chris. A lot of people believe you drop your arm down. It's actually your hand gets more at a downward angle toward the ground as opposed to on top of the baseball.
That was a pop on the baseball rather than on top there.
Well, that's 85 miles an hour.
It looked faster than that. It looked...
Yeah. He's dropping down a little bit now in a little more of a slot. That fastball looks like a good fastball, 85 miles an hour, but that's off of 278, 77 mile an hour breaking ball, so it makes it look like it's got some juice on it. But actually, earlier his fastball was up around 88, 89, and he's dropped off 3 or 4 miles an hour, and that's a sign of a man getting a little tired.
Held off the paraphernalia, if you will, hockey term. A long-time Canadians announcer Danny Gallivan used to use.
I don't
goaltender.
know any of that stuff.
It got caught in his paraphernalia.
Yeah. I don't know any of that hockey stuff. I'm only a ball player.
I understand. I'm a man for all seasons, Ray. Fans looking for a K here on Edgar Martinez. In the dirt, blocked nicely by Girardi, 3-2. So with 2 outs, 3-2, Junior will be moving. And anything in the gap he should score on and would make it a 1-run game if Martinez can do just that. He did double in the first inning. Scored on David Seguy's 2-run single. Nothing doing there. Strikeout number 8 as the bottom dropped out. Cone does his job, freezes Griffey at first, and Chad Curtis, who's coming up this inning, certainly did his job his last time up. 5-3 New York. Bottom of the 5th inning in New York. The Yankees lead the Mariners 5-3, and a special weekend, of course, one of the biggest sporting events on the calendar, the Kentucky Derby. 19.5 hours of coverage began today here on ESPN and ESPN2, culminating Saturday in our Kentucky Derby special at 2 Eastern Time. And ABC has the Run for the Roses, past the mid-julep, 15 to the post for the Derby, Saturday on ABC at 4:30 Eastern Time. 1.25 miles, and I would be fibbing if I did not tell you that in Joe Torre's office earlier this evening, I sat with Joe and one Don Zimmer, and we talked the Derby for about 10 minutes. Zim's going to get his racing form tomorrow and work on it for 48 hours. He is a big-time fan of the ponies. Rick Pitino's horse, one of the favorites in there. But favorites, you do not want to be the favorite in the Kentucky Derby. That's not good. Zim and Joe, they said we get a nice plane flight to Kansas City Thursday night. That's what we'll be doing, reading the form, discuss it Friday, come up with our pick Friday night.
He's an icon. He's just a baseball icon, I tell you.
He loves the ponies almost as much as baseball. Not as much. Inside Pitino. 2-2. Pitino is singled and grounded to second base. Chad Curtis, he of the 3-run homer, is on deck. Cincinnati wasn't far from Louisville. Of course, you were playing baseball. You ever been there? Oh, Tino gets under this one, as does Rob Ducey now in right field. There's one out. You ever been to Kentucky Derby race?
No, I haven't.
When would you?
I never have. I've only been to one horse race in my life, and when we were in Trois-Rivières, there were trotter tracks up there. There wasn't a lot else to do, and I went to watch the trotters because there wasn't anything else to do. But I don't know anything about horses either.
Well, how would you? I mean, they do derbies during the baseball season.
Right.
I should have checked myself on that question. Sorry about that. I have never been myself. Curtis struck out looking, then deposited his 3rd home run of the year over the left field fence. A no-doubter. 3-run home run, and that's why the Yankees lead at 5-3. Blowing away. 1-1. Paul O'Neill, a rare seat tonight. He is 0 for his last 22 and 2 of his last 33. And although he didn't want to sit against the tough pitcher, Joe Torre wondered if these 2 slumping stars, Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill, would like a night off the other night against Roger Clemens. They said, "Are you kidding? We don't want to sit against the best guys."
Well, O'Neill's a great competitor. Hal Morris is a great friend of his. He plays a lot of tennis with Jim Courier. And he's a guy that was born to hit. I had a scout last year to tell me after I left Cincinnati that O'Neill was the best hitter in the American League.
Sharp now to 3rd base, but Russ Davis across the diamond to David Segui, and there's 2 out. The man you saw a moment ago next to O'Neill is the batting coach, Chris Chambliss, and there was a good hitter.
Pretty good hitter in his day.
Did a pretty famous home run here in the 76 playoffs to beat Kansas City.
Talk about the glue that holds clubs together. A lot of times unsung heroes, Greg Nettles and Reggie Jacksons of Catfish Hunters of those ball clubs, and that man right there was the glue that held those clubs together. Just consistency, just like Tony Perez with the Big Red Machine. Unsung, quiet, but always there when somebody needed him.
And should be on everybody's short list when they start looking for their next manager.
There's no question. He knows the game. He's been around a lot of quality people and always studied the game. has tremendous respect within the game.
No one throwing in the bullpen in the Yankees.
Well, he must have won the argument with Joe or Mel. He's at 97 pitches, and
well, they're ecstatic over what they've seen. Let's make no mistake about it.
Well, Joe said to me again, not to kill this, but that because David Cone is such a big part of this ball club and where they're going to end up. Joe said that he's the most important player on this club.
Ripped by Posada to left center field. Back goes Glenn Allen Hill. Back, gone!
Bomb. That's a bomb.
Over the 399 sign into the bullpen. Jorge Posada with a long home run. His third of the year. And the Yankees have doubled the Mariners 6-3. Wow.
Well, we talked about how big this ballpark is. And for him to reach this place out here, he's got a lot of power. That's 399 right there. That ball cleared probably 15 feet, about a 420-foot home run.
Swing at the first pitch is Scott Brocious. Griffey in center field makes the play. But Posada has played long ball. The Yankees have 3 dingers off Jeff Passero. We've played 5. Coney and the Yanks lead 6-3. 6-3, the Yankees lead here at the top of the 6th inning as Jeff Passero has served up 3 home run balls, the latest by Jorge Posada, a bomb.
See a little bit why George Steinbrenner likes this young man. And Jeff Passero knows it's gone, and he doesn't like it. That's not happy birthday he's saying there.
What is he saying, Rick?
I can't say.
French, Trois Rivières.
Oh, yeah, right.
David Cone surrendered a 3 spot in the first inning, and since then has shut down the Mariners. He'll face David Segui, Glenn Allen Hill, and Dan Wilson.
Joe Torre has his bullpen going, and what he's going to do here, he's going to go hitter to hitter. Going to get his bullpen heated up, and if Coney gets in any trouble or shows any signs of weakening, has his man ready and make the move then.
Inside to David. He's laughing because he couldn't hold the bat back. And it's a strike. So, my God, that's as he fell, he couldn't hold the swing.
Ah, man, I don't know. I want to. Yeah, he did, obviously. That's what happens when you bury that slider down and in. It starts out over the plate, and you go out to get it. And talked about Lefty Carlton. That's what he used to do all the time. You'd end up swinging at balls that hit you in the kneecap.
No Mariner has been past first base since the first inning, just to illustrate how well Cone has pitched since that time. He has surrendered 3 runs and 3 hits. He's given up only 2 hits since then. If you believe in the song on The Lion King by Elton John, The Circle of Life, David Segui, it's only fitting that sometime in his major league career that he would be a Seattle Mariner. The reason I say that is that his father, Diego Segui, oh, and he waves at that one. Well, I guess I'll complete this story in a moment, but we have a pitching change in the studio. Monsieur Saunders.
Keep it French for the hockey coming up later. Rumors like old times here. Orioles and the White Sox. Matthews facing Will Cordero. That's gone. The other news, the bases were full. Grand Slam, 2nd of his career, 2nd home run of the night, and 3rd of the year. Boomer.
Thank you, John. How's it going, eh?
Nice to hear, John.
It is good. I know it's hockey season. You get John in the studio. You got the Kings and the Blues following this game. Now you put up on the other hockey tonight. Big lead by the Sabres over the Flyers, 4-0. Boy, Philly, thanks for joining us in these 2 games in Buffalo. My goodness. Ripped but foul down the right field side by Glenn Allen Hill. Last reported was 5-1 to Pittsburgh over Montreal, but I would knock that series at 2-2. Former Mariner Jeff Nelson came over in the Tino Martinez trade. up in the bullpen, so this probably will be the last inning for David Cone as we speculated along. Let me just continue to David Segui. I know he's sitting on the bench, but his dad, Diego Segui, not only was the opening day starter for the Mariners, their first game ever, 1977, he pitched the first game ever for the Seattle Pilots. So it was only fitting that David Segui eventually would play baseball in Seattle.
I was wondering where you're going there.
Well, I need a lot going on all of a sudden.
Right.
We had a strikeout. We had John Sonder. I mean, all of a sudden the plate was full. I went up for just a little portion, and I had a full plate. But David has impressed not only at the plate, but at first base, where he is a superior fielder. Superior.
He is. He is a great defensive.
Uh-oh, the reason is it quiet now and everyone's looking is a fan trying to not get out of the way. Oh. Oh, boy. Those do come off in a hurry, and if you're not following every pitch, I hope he's all right. That was not a good-looking sight.
Well, I don't know how people don't get really just hammered, you know, because you will look over there and so many times people don't pay attention, and it's lethal. It's lethal. I had a foul ball in AAA one time, hit a young kid at 10:30 at night. I'm talking about like 8-month-old kid in the head, and it's just dangerous out there.
Cone is dangerous up here. 10 strikeouts for David Cone as Glenn Allen Hill sits down.
Well, his slider still looks very, very good, Joe Torre. Watch the break on this slider. You're talking about going down. The ball just almost disappears, and Glenn Allen belling out with that left foot. Needed about another 4-inch bat to even tip that ball.
Dan Wilson, who has struck out twice already tonight, now steps in. Here's a base hit up the middle. So Wilson with his first base knock of the evening.
Well, no matter what happens at this point, David Cone has built on his outings. Already at 105, 106 pitches. Just getting stronger and stronger, being able to go deeper and deeper.
Well, a quick attendance to the fan, and he took a shot. We hope he's okay. The medics over there quickly. A lesson to everybody at the game: just pay attention. It's a great time, but just keep your eye on what's going on. You can move yourself a foot as the ball's coming, and you'll be okay. Not to say that he wasn't paying attention. Those balls fly off quickly.
Yeah, even if you're paying attention, it's dangerous over there in those first 5 or 6 rows. And I've often wondered why they didn't put some type of plexiglass all the way around the stadium, because somebody one day is going to get really hurt.
18th time in his career. Nope. Can't read right. I didn't think that was. 48th time. It's 18th. 48th time that David Cone has struck out 10 or more. And the 18 with. I can't read one. I'm getting old. My eyesight's not what it was.
You got glasses on. What?
Well, they're getting old. I know. The call on my answering machine in the morning will be from my optometrist.
Sure.
Time to come in for a checkup. Can Cody strike out the side?
Well, you see 10Ks already posted up there.
Strikeouts, including a strikeout of the side in the 6th for David Cone. Yowza.
Throw it home! Dinner! I'll come in a minute. You don't come in right now. None of the other moms are coming in. It's KFC! Gotta go.
Give Mom more time to play. Bring home this KFC meal with 8 pieces of chicken, original recipe or extra tasty crispy, plus 4 Colonel strips, just $13.99.
If you clean your plate, you can go out after dinner.
Mother's Day. Isn't it time for some really good chicken?
In an emergency, patients need to receive care that is as compassionate as it is confident. Ministry Healthcare makes it possible for us to do that.
Working in the department is, to me, a terrific challenge to meet the needs of people who are in distress, who have a crisis.
The emergency department at St. Michael's is a state-of-the-art community emergency department. Ministry Healthcare Network provides a tremendous amount of support.
The emergency department is backed up by a network of specialists, from cardiologists to neurosurgeons.
They provide us with the latest technologies, most effective medicines. The network treated 100,000 emergency cases last year.
It's important to provide consistent, quality, and cost-effective emergency care.
I enjoy taking care of people.
It's an organization that has values that I respect.
Ministry Healthcare, where caring makes the connection.
Mom's ugly. And your sister? Well, your sister, she's carnival trash. What did you just say? I said your sister's carnival trash, fish lips.
Back in the bottom of the sixth inning, the Yankees lead it 6-3, and handshakes all around for David Cone, who talks to the pitching coach, Mel Stottlemyre.
Well, boy, what a great outing. 11 punch-outs, 110 pitches, 77 of those strikes, real tight, crisp slider fastball, right around 89. So everybody over there in the Yankee dugout feels great. Got off the hook that first inning, gave up 3 runs, and mentioned that he was a bulldog and would come back, and he did. We see Heathcliff Slocum here. This is one of the projects that the Mariners have, trying to get their bullpen righted. You have to get Slocum in the ball game, middle of the ball game, to get some confidence, to build his confidence.
Well,
start his season as a closer.
Unfortunately, he was an opener. Now, look, Heathcliff's a good guy. He's been an all-star pitcher a few years ago with the Phillies, and as Lou Piniella says, you know, it's these guys out here, he believes that his bullpen will be good. He said, it's not like these guys haven't had success, and I'm hoping to, when Slocum starts against Joe Girardi.
Well, he's got
Slocum's been an all-star. Mike Timlin has been a very good pitcher. Bobby Ayala has been a very good pitcher. He says, it's not like these guys, I'm hoping, but the first 2 weeks, I mean, in Slocum's ERA is over 21.
Yeah, well, there's a big difference, Chris, in having good arms and being closer-type pitchers. It all boils down to mentality once you have the arm strength. And I don't really see anybody in that bullpen that is the prototypical closer. Bobby Ayala, I think, comes closest to it with the mentality. He really has that almost I don't give a flip type attitude. And he goes out there and throws hard and does the best he can, and actually saved 35 games in a year stretch where he saved 17 in the second half and 18 in the first half. But the big problem with that pen, I do not see a mentality out there that really likes the ball late. You've got guys with great arms that have been set up man and middle relievers, but it all starts with having success, and you don't have success.
Little flare that Cora makes a nice play and spin and retires Girardi.
My point was, it starts with confidence, and you don't have confidence unless you build it through success. And with the problems they had last year, they have not had a lot of success, and thusly they lose their confidence, and they've begun to build it. Ayala's throwing great. Tillman's begun to throw well. Spoljarich's throwing well. Slocum's the only guy that hasn't come back.
Slocum and Tony Fossas each have ERAs in the 20s. So those are the two guys that Lou needs to get straightened out, and then have Bobby Ayala continue as he's had the last couple of weeks. They went blow-up Saturday against Minnesota, but the last 2 weeks they've been good. Slocum inside the Knobloch almost dusted him 1-0. They were the last team to get a save this year. All of the other teams had a save until Ayala finally got one in the middle of April. Slocum, of course, worked the 2 games in Boston. The worst was opening day in Boston. It was a Friday afternoon. 7-2 Randy Johnson after 8 innings, and Slocum started the 9th. And, of course, he was a Red Sox last year until they made the trade for Varitek and Derek Lowe, and that one will be debated for years to come. And Slocum gave up 7 straight hits, including a grand slam to Mo Vaughn, who was a 9-7 loss. Mike Stanton in the bullpen, and what a job he did with Mariano Rivera on the DL, he and Jeff Nelson. And assuming the closer role, here's Knobloch to right field. A long run for Ducey. Makes a nice, smooth catch on the track. So Knobloch is an 0 for tonight.
Ducey gets a real good jump on this ball. Knobloch felt like he really hit it, was off running, but Ducey gets a good jump, times it. Doesn't play a lot, but has always been a very good outfielder.
That'll bring up Derek Jeter, who was homered and doubled. Flown out to left field. 2 for 3 for Derek. But Wilson will touch it as soon as it goes foul, and he had everybody fooled.
Yes, he did, including me. He came out tonight and he smoked 3 rockets. Usually when you hit the ball that hard, you don't go up there thinking bunt, but he's got 2 base hits and looking for that 3rd one.
First inning.
A rocket home run to left field.
Homer number 3. Au revoir.
3rd inning. Sweet stroke to right field.
And he flew out to left field. Hit that ball hard, too, by the way. So did Knobloch, but Chuck is now 0 for 3 with a walk. He'll have another at-bat or 2.
Chuck said that ball would have been off the baggie in Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think he's regretting it.
No.
It's too bad because he left with the hard feelings, at least a lot of the fans up there. But he just signed a new deal. And
well, he just made the statement that he wanted to go somewhere and win. He knew that ball club was not set up to win. They didn't have the money to put in the players, and he had a big contract, and he just wanted a chance to win. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I understand. Was a rookie on their championship team in 1991. What a great series that was. What a fun series that was. Atlanta's first appearance in the series.
That was. We were there together.
Yeah, we were. In the Atlanta games. And classic pitcher's duel in the last game. Puckett's home run in the 6th game. That was a great series. Game, that extra inning game in Atlanta. Lemke won it, right? Lemke was the star.
Remember Ronnie Gantt getting knocked off the base by Herbeck and Lonnie Smith misreading the ball in the outfield. There's a lot of things.
And it was a great series. Yeah, Lemke was great for Atlanta.
That's a pretty tough pitch to take there. That's a very good pitch. And when you're struggling, you just do not get those calls. Slocum struggled with his control all year long. Has really been the primary problem in not being able to get the ball over the plate and falling behind hitters, and then
he went. Jeter doesn't think so. But a good 1-2-3 inning for Heathcliff. Slocum if you got him. We head to the bottom of the 6th. 6-3, New York.
It's always been my way or no way, right? So when I go away, I stay at Super 8. I want it comfortable. Am I right? I want my VIP discount and friendly people. But not too friendly. Life's great at Super 8.
Air Canada has more non-stops between the USA and Canada than any other airline.
Here's to the weekend warrior in all of us, pushing our bodies beyond the norm. Mercifully, there's an advanced medicine called Advil. When the pain sets in, and it will, Advil works fast, right at the site of muscle pain, stopping it where it starts. Muscle aches to headaches, Advil relieves all kinds of pain. Advil simply lets people do what they love to do.
Kay Jewelers presents Cindy Crawford.
Are you wondering what to give this Mother's Day? Why not think about jewelry and just say Kay? You say it all, just say Kay.
Our mother and child diamond pendant is just $99.95. And on purchases of $500 or more, we offer free financing for 1 year.
Show her how much she means to you this Mother's Day in a way she'll remember forever.
ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Kay Jewelers. Shop Kay Jewelers this Mother's Day to find a spectacular selection of diamonds, colored gemstones, and 14-karat gold. Kay Jewelers, the diamond people. Time of the 7th inning here in New York. The Yankees lead the Mariners 6-3. And our pitching summary is brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Wallpaper Stores. Jeff Fassero served up 3 home run balls. He stands to lose it unless the Mariners stage a comeback. After giving up 3 runs in the first inning, David Cone was tremendous. 11 strikeouts, went to 3 balls and only 2 batters, and gave up only 3 hits after inning number 1 and no runs. So the story of tonight, I know Joe Torre has seen his team club 3 home runs, including a 3-run homer by Chad Curtis. But if you look at the big picture of where they're going, as Mike Stanton, the lefty, comes on, you look at the big picture where they're going. David Cone showed tonight has to give the Yankees a big, big boost.
Well, it does, because they have a lot of factors that they know that are going to be there in Andy Pettitte, David Wells, Arabu's throwing well. The bullpen has been great. They know offensively they're going to score runs and they're going to catch the ball, and the only question mark they had was David Cone, and he showed tonight what type of pitcher he can be. He can dominate a ball club, and he certainly did dominate after that first inning.
So Mike Stanton, the lefty, is on, and that'll bring up a pinch hitter. It'll be Rich, protect your car with Amaral. And the righty-lefty platoon, really, in the outfield, with the absence right now of Jay Buhner for 2 months. Amaral, the straight lefty-righty platoon, the right-hander will bat against Stanton. By the way, speaking of the right field situation, as Junior hopes he and the guys can get their bats going. The Mariners are looking for a right fielder. Now, you would think, well, geez, you lose so much pop, a 40 home run, 100 RBI guy in Buhner. They're really looking for a guy. They're not going to get that kind of guy right now.
Oh, no way.
Not at the end of April or early May. Someone with some speed. Someone who can maybe change the complexion a little bit in a different way. And there may be somebody like that out there. That's the type of player that they are looking for right now. They can't take on, A, a huge payroll, B, those guys aren't usually dumped till July anyway.
Right.
But that's what Lou Piniella and company are looking for. They'll go with Ducey and Amaral, but they like a little different component.
Well, Woody Woodward, the general manager.
And there's a shot by Amaral, the right center field. Bernie Williams is over with the spin. And a head-first slide, and Amaral is in with a leadoff double. So don't count these Mariners out. They can hit with the best of them.
Oh, they really can. They can put runs up in bunches, and Amaral has done a great job for Lou Piniella the last 3 or 4 years, playing a little bit of left field and platooning. Gets a fastball out over the plate and drives it to right center field and hustles it out for a double. Running hard all the way. Boy, I tell you, that's what you see with Lou Piniella's ball clubs. They just always seem to give you everything they have. That's because he gives you everything he has.
Yes, he does. So Amaral aboard in the top of the order, Joey Cora up. Don't forget Robert Perez also on the club, plays outfield. There's a defensive swing by Cora.
That was a weird swing.
Yeah, it was.
It's almost like get me over type swing, and this is not a situation where 1 run is going to help you.
We didn't have to apologize. His first pitch of the game was a triple.
Watch right here how he just feels for this ball. It's like, I mean, he's trying to go to right field there or something's bothering him. I can't figure that one out. But just while I got a minute, Woodward said that he did not have any money to go out and get a top-notch right fielder, and that they were tapped out, and they've got, you know, Randy Johnson to sign and the option on Martinez. So money's a big problem now with the big contracts that they doled out with Buhner and Griffey and company.
Stanton nowhere near the plate. A word on Mike Stanton. Remember how Lonnie Smith would always show up in the World Series?
Right.
I mean, no matter what team was playing, he'd be in it.
Right.
Mike Stanton, okay? Postseason, 91 Braves, 92 Braves, 93 Braves when he was actually the closer for much of that season. That team did not make the World Series as the Phillies beat it. 94, there was no postseason. 95, Red Sox, postseason. 96, Texas, postseason. 97, Yankees, postseason. He's been in every postseason since 91, and he's been with 3 different teams. He is the Lonnie Smith of the mound.
It's pretty impressive.
Didn't know that, huh?
Heck no, I didn't know that. Runner's going on that pitch there. I don't know. Cora looks like he's just trying to get the runner over there, and I'm telling you, in this situation, down 3 runs, you've got to build a big inning. You know, 1 run just puts you 1 run closer, but watch. There's Amaral breaking, and Cora just protecting him. Really had a great jump. You know, you don't have to protect him there. He's got that base stolen, unless that was just a strike and he was falling. I just think that Cora's a much better left-handed hitter, and you see him with a different approach right-handed. Obviously, as a right-handed hitter in the league, you don't get as many at-bats against left-handed pitchers because there's not that many left-handed pitchers. Cora, outstanding left-handed hitter with a real short stroke. His stroke's just longer right-handed, and doesn't look like his timing's real good right now.
The count to Joey Cora. Amaral at second base. Mariners down by 3 runs. I'd almost hit him. Fastball way inside, 3-2. Now here comes the meat of the order. Rodriguez, Griffey, and Edgar Martinez right after Cora.
Girardi sets up way inside, almost busts him. Gets out of the way. That's where Craig Biggio would have gotten hit and been on first base. A lot of those guys have that.
Yeah. Rip has the diving Jeter. Amaral will stop at third, and the Mariners have runners at the corners with none out with the meat of the order coming up. So the strength of the Yankee team is the bullpen, or one of the strengths, and now all of a sudden they put themselves in a little bit of a pickle.
Well, it certainly has been. Here's a 3-2 count, and shortstop playing very, very short there. He should have been deeper in my estimation. I didn't see it until then, but a shortstop almost playing halfway like he had a pickoff play on or something, and the ball got by him. But
well, you saw it's Amaral at third base and Cora at first. The guy you talked about at the beginning of the show, Alex Rodriguez, is due. Strikeout, fly to center, grounded short. What's he looking here?
He's got to look hard. He's got to look hard. Stanton likes to throw that slider down and in, and he's basically a power pitcher, fastball slider. Right there was just a straight changeup. Alex Rodriguez, a free swinger, only 6 walks this year. But Stanton has been unbelievable, as has all the Yankee bullpen in the last 13 games, a 1.35 earned run average. That's pretty unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
Jeff Nelson and Stanton doing most of the work.
Yeah, last 13 games, 33 in the 3rd inning. Going in here tonight, 5 earned runs allowed. But, that being said, with one swing of his bat, there could be 3 earned runs. But Stanton ahead of A-Rod, 0-2.
Well, that's something I've not seen Mike Stanton pitch this year at all. And I've seen a changeup, 2 changeups in a row, and that's a pitch that he really didn't have. He was basically fastball slider. This is just a straight changeup, 79 miles an hour, and there's not too many people that hit that. I think a straight changeup is the best pitch in baseball behind the located fastball, because if you throw it with that arm speed, it's impossible to pick up. And so many people have gotten away from it. They want to trick you with a split finger or a fork ball as their off-speed pitch, and you always see the rotation of that split finger. That may be even a split that he's throwing there. I saw him split his finger there. But I didn't have any information on a split, just a straight fastball. And
Rodriguez leads the major leagues with 19 extra base hits this season. As the Mariners try to come through here, first time since the first inning, they've had more than one runner on.
there you see that is a split finger that he's doing. See how he's gripping that baseball right there? That's a split instead of a straight changeup.
Little chopper to Brocious, not blocked. Martinez, double play. The run does score. But what a sharp turn by the 5-4-3 of the Yankees.
Well, we talked about outstanding up the middle. You have to be able to be quick. You have to be quick to be able to turn it on Alex Rodriguez. There's nobody that gets down the line better. This ball is to the third baseman. Brocious comes, makes a real quick pivot there with Knobloch and bang, bang. But look how quickly he gets rid of that ball. Perfect throw from the third baseman, and bow. Wow. That is real close as Darwood Merrill bangs it.
He did give the bang, too, didn't he?
He'll bang in a heartbeat, even in his book.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't take after announcers in there, did he?
I don't know. I haven't read it.
Junior Griffey reached down air to Brocious and scored. Flew out to center. Hit by pitch. No go to David Phillips.
Junior telling himself to stay back there. He knows that he has to be real quiet with his feet. He's always been a very quiet hitter with his feet. He's jumping out there a little bit and just telling himself to stay back.
Okay, he stayed back all right. Ripped to center field. Back, gone!
98 mile an hour. I believe that was leaving the bat. I don't believe that was a fastball, but that is a great example of a hitter correcting himself, staying back, hitting the ball to the opposite way, and that's his number 9.
Well, he takes the American League lead in home runs, barring what all the other guys who have it's about a 4 or 5 way tie atop it. And now you see how big that double play ball was before that.
Oh, yeah, and look how he just stays back. His lower half hardly moves at all. He gives himself, watch this little short stride, no movement forward, head behind the ball, and he made himself correct that. He corrected himself, and that's why he's the best player in the game.
Edgar Martinez up, and now quickly a 1-run game. And, there was one pitch more I was going to make this guess and ask you. The one place I don't think, with Stanton being a lefty, was going to work Griffey was inside, but yet that's the problems he's had, and we've seen it tonight. But lefty versus lefty, Junior could sit on a ball, not so much outside, but he didn't have to worry about being busted inside, correct?
Well, it's tough for left-handers to get the ball in. They tend to get the ball, try to get the ball in there, and the ball runs into the hitter, and it's tough for them to get the ball inside.
My point is that if that's what he was struggling against, he could kind of put those thoughts aside and just get out over the plate, which he obviously did. Jeff Nelson up. .409-foot home run, we're told. I will say one thing about Junior Griffey, and he knows it. He averages a home run a game when I do the games. He does. Did 4 last year. He had 4. Did 2 this year. He has 2.
Our colleague and good buddy here, Harold Reynolds, at the ball game today, made that statement to me. Chris Berman shows up, Griffey guaranteed a home run.
So it's almost automatic. Last 2 years, I've done 6 games. He has 6 home runs.
Well, he still doesn't feel good about himself because he struggled a little bit batting average-wise, but come August, September, he's going to be league leading home runs as he already is, and that average will be near 300.
Well, chopper by Edgar Martinez. Girardi should have plenty of time over to Tino. And the Mariners are gone. But now the plot is thickened. At the beginning, we said Junior was in the house that Ruth built. The babe would have been proud of that one. The dulcet tones of John Saunders. It is like the old days. First couple of years, until California, John was in the studio. We were doing the games. Just like the old days, John is going to wait for the West Coast game. Of course, in this case, it's hockey. So Blues and Kings coming up afterwards. John will keep us posted on the Pittsburgh-Montreal game, although the Penguins are way up. Rich Amaral, who pinch hit and had a double and scored a run, will stay in right field for Ducey. As the Yankees have 3-4-5, Raines, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez here in the 7th inning of what is now a one-run game. So now here's where the ball, it's hit very well to center field. Griffey goes back. It's off his glove. Raines into second base and will halt there. I don't think that Griffey thought that Raines was going to poke it that far. He's hitting that ball like he's a regular number 3 hitter.
Yeah, I think that ball fooled Kenny a little bit. Early in the game, we had a couple of balls misjudged out there, but this ball is the toughest ball for a center fielder to read. But he gets a great jump on the ball. He's going back. He's trying to gauge it, going as hard as he can, and the ball's just hit so hard it hits the backside of his glove. But look at him. Right here, this ball is moving a little bit to his right. He's doing the best he can. The ball just gets on him in a hurry.
6th extra base hit of the night for the Yankees.
You don't see that happen very often.
No, you don't.
It was almost as if the wind blew that ball away from Junior to right center field because he started angling straight back, and the ball from here looked straight over his head, and it just kept moving a little bit to his right. So the wind is swirling out there a lot more than we can feel up here, and it's very evident.
Bernie Williams down the left field side, but that little curve.
Wow. Now here Bernie Williams is hitting in the 4-hole and got a runner on second base with nobody out, and it goes back to the same situation, Chris, trying to get this runner over, but the manager will sometimes say, hey, you're my 4-hole hitter. You're the man I have in there to drive in the run. You go ahead, and he'll take 3 shots to drive in the run with his 4, 5, 6-hole hitters as opposed to giving up a possible big inning by just having a guy give himself up. But as a left-handed hitter, you're not really giving yourself up trying to pull the ball.
Slocum tries to work him outside, much so, 1-1. Crowd really would like to see Bernie get off the schneid. He does not yet have a home run this season. Now here's where we talked about Heathcliff Slocum demoted, if you will, to middle relief. Here's where he becomes the key player in the ballgame. Keep the team at bay. Now your club, the Mariners, are within 1 run.
Well, middle relief, and this is actually still middle, going to set up basically, but they're behind, so it's middle relief. Is so important and critical. Those guys have to keep you in the ball game. Now the game got a little bit close, and we'll see if there's a difference in Slocum. You know, he did well when there were 3 runs behind. Let's see if there's a difference in him when the game gets close.
Well, I was hoping there isn't any.
No, right, but I'm just saying.
First inning was 1, 2, 3.
I'm just saying that it's easier to pitch when you're up or down 3 runs than it is. It's much easier to pitch down 3 runs. But when you're struggling with your confidence, when more pressure gets put on you, then you come out of your natural rhythm and you try to force things. Let's just see what happens with him. He's 1-2 ahead in the count, but Raines hit a bullet to center field after Slocum retired his side in the 6th. And I'm not trying to sound negative. I'm just bringing something out.
No, you're not. And Heathcliff knows that. Although I don't think he gets cable on the mound. Little chopper. Wide first.
Well, it's really hard, Chris, to be critical of anybody after playing the game as long as I did, knowing how tough it is. You know, it's hard to be critical, but you can't compromise what you know, and that's a part of our job, is to let people know and be aware. And it's very difficult for me to criticize any big league player, but it's constructive, and I'm always pulling for those guys.
1-2 pitch, right back through Slocum. Raines is held at third by Willie Randolph, and the crowd really figured that Raines would come around to score.
Well, I don't know why he held him there. That was a ball that was not hit very hard. Raines got tremendous speed. Griffey's got tremendous arm, but respecting Williams' power. But they're talking there, and I think maybe
Willie, didn't he wave him for? I mean, I was getting set to score call him coming home.
I'm with you, buddy. I mean, he didn't hit this ball hard. Slocum should have made the play, didn't make the play. This is just a ground ball routine up the middle. The only thing is, the runner at second base has a tendency to move back to second on that ball hit back to the pitcher. And Willie Randolph may have seen that. It wasn't on the replay. I didn't catch it, but that's probably what happened. Raines moved back there toward second and didn't get a good jump. He held him up with nobody out and the best hitter at the plate.
Tino Martinez 1 for 3. The Yankees have let the Mariners creep to within 1. Now they want to get that Bolds back up to 3 if they could. Strike on the outside corner. Here's Willie Randolph. Now look, the ball's hit, gets by Slocum, and Randolph's first.
Raines had a good jump. He's telling him to go. He's telling him to go, and then Raines just stopped for some reason. But Willie was telling him to go from the get-go. I don't know what happened there, but Raines got a good jump, and he was sending him.
Good job by director Jimmy Moore.
That was a great
on
job.
The cameras. Get it all covered for you. Raines just didn't read it right. Well, I can't believe Slocum didn't make the play, by the way.
No.
I mean, that's got to be a glove save here on Hockey Night on ESPN. I mean, he didn't even need, as John Saunders would appreciate, a rapier-like glove hand. Just put the glove out. 1-2 pitch. Tino stays alive. Again, the fouling off until you get the pitch you want.
Boy, he's tough, and that's why he keeps falling pitches, tough pitches, until he gets a pitch that he can handle. Another thing with closers, too, Chris, a true closer, he can fill his position. He holds runners on. He doesn't panic with runners at first and second. He knows where to go in bunt situations, and that's what I'm talking about, that mentality, that makeup. You've got to be able to fill that position.
A weak foul ball, but
doesn't matter.
I know, stay alive.
Right.
Tony Prehistoric Fossis, the lefty, throwing in the bullpen. And as the Mariners, Piniella, Clarence.
He's telling the infield, they're bringing the infield in to make sure that there's a ball that's hit, that's medium hit, they can come home and stop the run at home, and instead of going for 2. See, they have the man moving in, the second baseman moving in, so he's coming home. Shortstop will go to second.
Ripped down the line, but foul.
And Chris, this is really an unusual alignment, how he's playing here. Normally you'd play your second baseman at least halfway back so that he could get to the bag. Right now, if there's a ball hit to the shortstop that's hit hard to his right, there's no way to turn to. Chris Cora cannot get to the bag from that position. Tino being pretty much a pull hitter, I'm surprised that he's playing Cora that short.
Here goes the base runner, the throw by Wilson. Safe is Bernie Williams at second base. First stolen base of the night for the Yankees.
Well, I love the way Joe Torre pressures this defense. It's a great play. You got the option to send the runner from third on a double steal, but Bernie Williams, as we talked earlier, is one of the guys that's on his own, read the ball well, got a good jump. was able to steal the base and takes you out of a double play situation and forces the infield now to play in.
40th stolen base for the Yankees, who lead the majors.
See how tight the infield is now. That stolen base makes them play tight. And now what, Wilson's going to go out and say, look, we've got a right-handed hitter on deck, 2-2 count. Let's not make a mistake. And he learned something from Pissarro earlier, but Wilson goes out and says, look, you've got 2 pitches to make here. First base open, do not make a mistake, and just give them 2 runs by throwing a slop pitch over the plate.
Reminder, as you see, the Game 4 of the Blues-Kings series coming up after we're done here at Yankee Stadium. Ed Curtis at a 3-run home. You saw him on deck. Little bouncer through the drawn-in infield. Rain scores. Williams is being held up, although the throw goes through, and it's 7-5, the Yankees. That ball would have got through, I think, had they been back.
That ball was through regardless. Yes. It just happened to be a seeing eye ball. But either way, if that ball would have been another 4 or 5 feet either way, it still would have been a base hit with that drawn-in infield. And that's what the stolen base did. Tino, a great at-bat, a nasty pitch down and away. The only person that had a chance for that ball would be Segui, but that ball is right through the seam. Amaral charging the ball, and with no outs again, Randolph stops runner at third.
Joe Torre telling Paul O'Neill, get ready. We get a righty on the hill.
He's got O'Neill over there. You got Darryl Strawberry over there. A lot of left-handed choices.
Curtis's bat went to Twitter. So the Yankees have scored in every odd inning tonight. 2 in the first, 3 in the third, 1 in the fifth, 1 in the seventh. Not quite Tony Oliva.
No, he needs a little more pine tar. Tony let it go about once or
forward.
Twice. Yeah.
He got hits by throwing the bat at the ball. You know, Slocum made good pitches that even the one Tino hit was a good pitch. I mean, the ones he fouled off, Slocum pitched him tough.
He did. He did pitch him tough. He made some good pitches, but the great hitters foul those balls off. And I mentioned Paul O'Neill and Tino, and that's what great RBI hitters do. They're able to spoil pitches, don't strike out much, take you deep in the count until you make a mistake. Slocum didn't make a mistake. He still made a real good pitch, but Tino, being the great hitter he is, was able to get the ball through the right side.
And he comes back and gets Curtis. There's 1 down.
Well, the only way you take this pitch right here is if you're thinking breaking ball, because this is a fastball right down Broadway. Curtis is just thinking breaking ball and just freezes up. That ball's right there. There's no way that you take that pitch with 2 strikes. He knew it.
So 1 out now, and Jorge Posada, who homered his last time up to left field. Bernie Williams at third base, Tino Martinez, the runner at first base. Fly to left, double to right center, homer to left for Posada tonight as the DH. Up top, yep, in there for strike, 2-1. I first saw Rocky Rowe give a kind of a stand
Well, he wasn't very emphatic. That ball looked up to me too. He certainly wasn't emphatic about it.
Trying to call him from up here, but he stood up. But no, he's not doing anything.
Right.
All right, we'll wait. We should tell you, Ray, that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball. may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Disseminated.
Thing changes every other night.
It's like a, is that like a high school science experiment? Frogs? What do you mean disseminated? What the heck is that?
Don't ask me.
Well, I know what it is, but I mean, geez, put it in English. Disseminated. Okay, 2-2 pitch fouled off by Posada, and again the Yankees waiting for their pitch, fouling the pitches off, disseminating the ball.
This is a good young player right here. I can see why they're so high on him. And we talked to Joe Torre about the situation here, the catching situation, as you alluded to before, 2-1 day to the next. Joe Girardi being the more experienced of the two, but it won't be long before this young man takes it all over.
Little chopper, Slocum fields it, forgets there's a runner coming home. Wilson with a tough tag, and Williams is gone. A curious play, but yet the result that should have happened for the Mariners is Slocum gets the play at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, I think Williams right here, let's see what Williams does if he's going on contact. Ground ball, he's going on contact. Slocum looks there, starts to go to second, thinking maybe two, throws off balance, gets him at the plate. Good play. He is a good play. It's just that he looked at third, thought that maybe there was a chance for a double play, looks at second, then changes his mind, comes home. Lucky to make a good throw with that being that far off balance.
Dan Wilson at the plate blocked nicely.
Yes, he did.
So Posada on board on a fielder's choice. Martinez down to second, and that will bring up Scott Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It's the longest nickname.
You know, actually, Heathcliff's throwing the ball well.
Yes,
very well this inning.
Yes,
The line drive to center field, then the bouncing ball back up the middle, and a seeing eye single that scored 2 runs.
Tino Martinez is the runner at second base, and Jorge Posada is at first. So after a leadoff double by Raines and then a single by Bernie Williams, Slocum will have done pretty well to just wriggle free, allowing the 1 run if he can retire Brocious, who is 0 for 3 tonight.
Well, what he's done is he's gotten ahead of hitters. He's been ahead of every hitter that he's faced this inning, and when I saw him struggling before, he was bouncing balls, throwing balls to the screen, wide of the plate. He just had no rhythm. Tonight, he's been ahead of hitters, right around the strike zone, and has thrown the ball very well.
O'Neill getting some stretches, just in case. 29 pitches this inning for Heathcliff Slocum. Working that gum pretty good.
He's working that gum, isn't he?
Chopper that Russ Davis boots, throws wide at first. So the third error of the night for the Mariners has now allowed the Yankees to load the bases.
Well, Russ let this ball play him. That's an old saying, but you've got to come get this ball right off the bat and catch it on the short hop. Always going to be overspinning. Watch this. He sits there, he waits on the ball, then he makes his move too late. You've got to go get that ball on the short hop. In between hop with that overspin, it eats you up. And again, we talked about his throwing woes. Pulls him off the bag. 5 unearned runs tonight for the Yankees.
And if they get any more, they'll be unearned too. 2 errors for Davis.
Well, that's one of the toughest things to learn as a third baseman when you haven't played there much. Davis has been over there a long time, is to make that move quickly.
Joe Girardi swinging at the first pitch, a fly ball to center, but Griffey is there. So the Yankees strand 3. They do score 1. We've played 7, 7-5, New York.
is on my side. Yes, it is. Time is on my side. Yes, it is. 'Cause I got the cooling, the kind that you need. It keeps running on for me.
Time will definitely be on your side with an Armstrong air conditioner. Armstrong Air. Strength you can rely on.
My idea, install a stereo system on the Jimmy Page Robert Plant tour bus.
You're in for a surprise.
Amazing!
Isn't it? And look at this installation. 1,650 watt amps. Tweeters for high, mid-ranges here, and subwoofers for powerful mix.
If you can drive it, we can put tunes in it. Best Buy. Now that's a great idea.
Could I get a job on this tour?
At the end of a long day, who offers the warmest greeting, willing to do practically anything for you, asking little in return?
That's right, the folks at Red Roof Inns, who greet you with a more genuine smile, make sure your room is clean and comfortable, and when it comes to the bill, ask for so little in return. Something that dogs wouldn't understand. They have no concept of money. Well, they have no pockets. Red Roof Inns, nice people and an honest value. Call 1-800-THE-ROOF. Oops.
What's this stuff? Yuck! No. I'm out of here, Jack. Whoa! I got standards, you know. Nice try, big fella. Going up. Hey, hubba. Whoa! See ya!
For the best, come to your Sherwin-Williams store. The only place to find super paint. You'll get a beautiful finish in one coat.
Everyone into the pool. Oh,
when only the best will do, ask Sherwin-Williams.
7-5, Yankees lead the Mariners here in the top of the 8th inning, and interesting sights in the Mariners dugout after the inning between Lou Piniella, Stan Williams, and Heathcliff Slocum.
Yeah, a lot of people think Lou Piniella's a hothead, and I tell you, he's a sensitive, caring guy and believes in positive reinforcement, and there you go, right there is a great example of why he's been so successful as a manager. Players understand that he's fiery and that he's tough, but he really cares about people.
Some defensive moves for the Yankees. Paul O'Neill now will go to right field. Chad Curtis goes from right to left. Timmy Raines out of the game, so O'Neill will bat third this coming inning. He'll bat in the third spot where Raines had hit. Joe Torre, no on defense. Well, you see the Mariners make 3 errors. 2 by Russell Davis, 1 earlier by A-Rod. Now the Mariners have to play catch-up again and come up with a couple of runs, or attempt to. Segui, Glenn Allen Hill, Dan Wilson. David Segui is 1 for 3. Hill is 1 for 3. Wilson's 1 for 3.
One thing that I like about Joe Torre, in the days of old, the closers would go sometimes 1 1/3, sometimes 2 innings. I've seen guys like Tommy Hume, when he was with the Reds, go 3 innings to close out a game. He believes in stretching closers out.
Gino Martinez hardly had to move, and Segui's gone.
And I really like that. He's not stuck in that idea of just 1 inning, you know, give it to the man when nobody's on base. And that's really a rut that managers have gotten in, I believe. And I certainly was a part of that. Always want my closer clean. There you see Joe coming in now to bring the right-hander in to face the right-handed part of this lineup.
Glenn Allen Hill and Wilson coming up next. So Torre went with Stanton. Struggled tonight. Mike gave up 2 runs in the 7th and gets the first out here. Big Jeff Nelson coming in. We'll be coming back.
We made it! Is it still there?
There's only one Mile High taste. Coors, the original.
Vogue Eyewear by Luxottica. What do you want people to see?
I want you to see where it all started.
Growing up doesn't equal growing old.
I want you to see next year's trend.
Let them see you in Vogue Eyewear by Luxottica.
Oh, give me land, lots of land under starry skies above.
ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon till I lose my senses. Don't fence me in.
Demanded better training facilities. Insisted on new uniforms and equipment. Held out for hundreds of free tickets. These guys will stop at nothing to get whatever they can for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Major League Baseball charities and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, giving kids a world of opportunities.
A's and Indians, a struggling 8th inning for the Indians. Mitchell at the plate with a grounder to second. Garcia's coming home, but not in time to get Mike Flowers, who's in there. Part of a 5-run 8th inning for the A's. They blow it wide open 8-2. The Blues and the Kings, it's coming up bowling baseball. It is still tied. The Kings just missed a chance on the power play. Chris, back to you.
Merci, Jean, merci. We'll be going out to the Kings-Blues game. Brad Hall company trying to wrap it up after that wild 4-goal during one power play third period. At a race to 3-0 deficit. Here is 6'8" Jeff Nelson, one-time Mariner, in to face his old mates. He and Stanton have been great, while Mariano Rivera has been on the DL, though Stanton struggled tonight. It's Nelson's turn to see if he can uphold the high standing of the Yankee bullpen. He'll face Glenn Allen Hill. Base is clean and 1 out. Fly out to center. Single and strike. Long throw for Jeter. Too long, too high, and Hill is in. So the Mariners.
Well, this is a ball you almost have to backhand. You can't really get in front of it because you have a tough time setting your feet. What you do as a shortstop, I saw Davey Concepcion do it probably better than anybody, is you circle the ball and backhand it and set your feet and throw it all in one motion. Very tough play, very difficult to make. That young man makes it as well as anybody, but you can only make it if you backhand it.
2 for 4 for Glenn Allen Hill, obviously a base hit. And Dan Wilson now up, represents the potential tying run. $27,949 that paid attendance tonight. Pretty good. Midweek crowd. All the Mariners always get a good crowd. Pretty good. You see the Bulls were in town playing the Nets. Wilson gets under this one. Long run for Bernie Williams in. Oh, he makes a sliding catch. My Bernie came a long way on that one.
He really did. I thought at first Chuck Knobloch was going to catch this ball, but Bernie Williams took charge. Got a tremendous jump on this ball, and if it not for Ken Griffey Jr. would be the Gold Glove center fielder in the American League. Look at the jump on this. Full tilt, full stride all the way, calls the ball, makes a tremendous play as Knobloch veers off.
That long gait of Bernie Williams served him well on that play.
Well, you talk about a ball club that's close and together and plays hard. Danny Wilson thinking he might got a little dinker in there. Dunker, chink.
That was, I believe Dan, though, you know, that little slight kick.
Right.
Reminiscent of DiMaggio after John Frito made the catch. That little kick of the dirt.
But it's almost a shame that they have to give one Gold Glove award because Bernie Williams certainly, in my estimation, is as close to an equal to Ken Griffey Jr. as there is. He plays great center field.
Nothing wrong with Edmonds either, huh?
No.
It's a tough award, but Griffey won 8 in a row.
I would take it away from him.
Yeah. So here is Russ Davis. Up pinch hitter Rick Wilkins. After Davis had struck out 3 times tonight and made 2 errors, I think Lou had seen enough. And against the right-hander Nelson, they bring the left-handed stick Rick Wilkins. one of 3 catchers on the Mariners roster. The Euchre of the 90s, John Marzano, was the 3rd catcher with the Mariners. Mozzie. Wilkins was disappointing last year in San Francisco. They really was shot to be the starting catcher all year, and he struggled. They went out and got Brian Johnson in the middle of the season. Wilkins moved on. Colorado late. He's struggling again early going at the plate. Breaking before Nelson has that big, it starts way outside the strike zone.
Boy, it's a big slider. It's because his arm angle is down. It's like that flat slider that Quisenberry threw, and there you see Mariano Rivera, who throws as hard as anybody in the game. And
Stanton to Nelson to Rivera. That's the plan, although the Mariners did touch Stanton. Nelson trying to quell this rally with the 1-2 count to Wilkins. There's that same pitch. It starts about 2 feet outside. It's like a golfer has a little draw on the ball. Nelson had a little bit on that.
I'll come in a minute. You don't come in right now. And none of the other moms are coming in. Gotta go.
Give Mom more time to play. Bring home this KFC meal with 8 pieces of chicken, original recipe or extra tasty crispy, plus 4 kernel strips, just $13.99.
If you clean your plate, you can go out after dinner.
Mother's Day. Isn't it time for some really good chicken?
There's no better place to live than central and northern Wisconsin. People here are honest and hardworking. But even honest and hardworking people get injured. And when they do, they face large and powerful insurance companies. That's when you need experienced legal help you can count on.
Jim Weiss and Habish, Davis & Rotier, building relationships in central and northern Wisconsin.
You tired of playing Twister? Then you need the Handy Bundler, the original endless strapping dispenser. Secures anything as easy as 1, 2, 3. Look, ordinary tie wraps just aren't long enough, but the Handy Bundler's cord extends to any size, around the shop, at home, in the office, and on the job. You get the Handy Bundler, over 50 feet of durable nylon strapping, and 100 locking clips, all for $19.95.
Available in retail stores.
From Friday morning's breakfast at Churchill Downs to highlights of the race immediately after its run on Saturday, tune into ESPN and ESPN2. It's the Run for the Roses on ABC, and it's a weekend of winning Derby coverage beginning Friday only on ESPN and ESPN2.
Now it's time for the Kelly Springfield Tire key plays of the game. After a 3-run first by Seattle, Derek Jeter's solo home run helped the Yankees get back in and make it 3-2. Chad Curtis' 3-run homer in the 3rd gave the Yankees the lead. A Brocious to Knobloch to Martinez double play turned out to be large because following that play on the A-Rod ground ball in the 7th, Junior Griffey hit a solo home run. At the time, it made it 6-5. The Yankees have added a run to make it 7-5, and that's where we stand. Griffey with the American League lead in homers with 9. And if the Mariners get 1 hit in the 9th inning, he will come to the plate again. Lots of changes for Seattle here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Felipe Lira is the new pitcher. He began the season as a possible 5th starter with Pissarro on the DL. The new right fielder is Robert Perez. He will hit in the 8-hole where Wilkins just pinch hit because Rich Amaral is the new 3rd baseman. He stays in the game and actually will lead off the 9th inning for Seattle, hitting in the 9th slot. So Felipe Lira to a man that makes a lot of lira, Chuck Knobloch, here in the 8th. Knobloch base hit. Perez just in the game up with it. And Knobloch with his first hit of the night. Always a hit, John Saunders.
Well, Chris, the hits have started in Los Angeles. Blues and the Kings. Blues on the power play. McInnes with the feed across to Steve Duchesne. He dances in. A couple of misses. It goes wide, and they fight it off. It still remains scoreless right now. Dans la première période. Chris.
The Blues did everything with that puck except put it up along the dasher, John. Here's Derek Jeter. Homer, double, flew out to left, struck out.
See, Chris, right here, just insert in the National League, Jeter would bunt this guy over here, or hit and run, or steal. There'd be something to happen here to try to create that one-run cushion. Most aptly, number 2 hole hitter would bunt. But with Knobloch's speed and the way the Yankees have been using that speed, probably won't bunt, and he'll probably try to steal it.
To left field, and that'll drop in front of Glen Allen Hill. Look at Knobloch digging to third, safe.
Boy, that's what he brings to this ball club. He can be hitting 224 and you can talk about that negatively, but offensively, he's going to do so much when he gets on the base pass, create havoc for the defense. This ball is to left field, and seldom do you see a runner go from first to third on a ball hit to left field. All this ball was softly hit. Watch how hard Knobloch goes here. Full tilt, rounds the bag, getting himself gathered and busts it, and there's not even a play at third. There's just not even a play. But you don't see that happen too often because it's only about a 200-foot throw to third base.
Well, Lou Piniella has devalued the lira. He's faced 2 batters. He's given up 2 hits. We'll be back.
This is you. This is your tongue. These little things, these are your taste buds. Taste buds are nice, quiet things, but every once in a while, they go wild. Like when they taste something like Ocean Spray's new Ruby Red and Mango. It's made from only the sweetest grapefruit and the most delicious mangoes. It's also really good for you. But don't tell your taste buds that. They don't care. Taste something wild. Ocean Spray, Ruby Red and Mango.
We made it! Is it still there?
There's only one Mile High taste. Coors, the original.
I talk to my mom every Sunday. Hi, Mom. Just to stay close. Tell her what the kids are up to. They've been drawing me the most beautiful pictures. That's why I signed up for MCI 5-cent Sundays. It's just 5 cents a minute. So we can talk for half an hour for just $1.50. Now that same call was 3 times as much with AT&T's One Rate. We save more with MCI. And best of all, hi, Grandma. We all get to talk more.
Call 1-800-Sundays to become an MCI customer.
ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. We'll remind you the 3 most important words are, hey, beer man, and by MCI, introducing unlimited internet access for $14.95. 7-5, bottom of the 8th. The Yankees lead the Mariners, and look at the hustle by Chuck. New kids on the Knobloch.
Yeah, I want to see this again. This is the way you're supposed to play the baseball game. Unbelievable how he plays so hard. Always has, always will. He only knows one way to play. Remember Bernie Williams in center field making that diving catch. This is the way the Yankees are playing, and that's why most probably, even this early, I'm going to predict they're going to win the pennant. So much talent and a lot of desire. American League pennant.
I've made a note. Tony Prehistoric Fossis, the left-hander with, unfortunately for him, an ERA in the early going this year of 20.25, will face the left-hander O'Neill. Paul with his first at-bat of the game is 1 for 9 lifetime against Fossis and tries to time it, but it's going to go to Griffey in center field. Now, Knobloch will...
He's going to go.
He's going to go. Segui cuts it off. and makes the throw to second base, alertly tagging out Jeter.
Well, I tell you what, I think he was safe at second base. From right here, it looked like the throw was late. Looked like the throw was late. Joe Torre's going to come back. I mean, it didn't even look close from up here. I wasn't even watching the monitor. I was watching the play on the field. So that'll have to go as a sac fly and a double play, but...
Dale Scott.
You're not going to... No, that's actually Durwood Merrill.
Durwood's going to put Joe in the book now.
Yeah. But that's a bad call, I think. I'm going to look at it again here. Throw to the plate, no chance for Knobloch. Cuts the ball, throws the ball to second base. Let's look at it. No chance. He's safe. The bag's already buckling. But look what happened there. Durwood's on the first base side of that. It's a tough place to be. You've got to be able to see that throw from between the mound and the bag in order to see if there's any daylight there. You can't see it from behind the runner.
So a sac fly, double play.
But still very aggressive baseball. I like it. I like it. You have to take it out for a run. If he lets the ball go through, you've still got a runner in scoring position at second base, even if the guy's out at the plate. So, you know, I think it's the right play. Not a bad call, but aggressive baseball.
But more importantly for the Yankees, they do get a run, and it's now 8-5. So when all is said and done, the hustle of Knobloch on both plays. Because you figure it's medium center field as Fossa snares this grounder by Bernie Williams and throws to Segui. Figure on Junior that a lot of people don't even try that. Knobloch's hustle's given the Yankees a 3-run cushion ahead into the ninth.
When you think of carpet, think of Menards. We've got a great selection of indoor, outdoor carpet like Status from Tribune. Great for high traffic areas in 4 colors, just 39 cents a square foot. Pro-spec vinyl shutters by Design House are maintenance-free and feature a lifetime warranty in white or black in 4 sizes. Just $9.77 a pair. Save on home improvements at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Choose Nissan for your new car, truck, and choose the new Courtesy Nissan Mazda on Highway 10 East in Stevens Point. That's right, you've known and trusted Courtesy Motors for years, and now the newest member of our family is Courtesy Nissan Mazda. You can trust us to bring you great selection, great deals on Nissan cars and trucks, as well as great factory-trained service technicians to keep your new Nissan in top-running form. Really, Courtesy, more than a name, it's our way of doing business. The new Courtesy Nissan Mazda, Highway 10 East, Stevens Point.
No multi-million-dollar contracts. No victory laps. Not even a winner's circle. But if you think these weekend warriors who run the Score Desert Championship Series take anything for granted, think again. Which is exactly why they run with the Duralast battery from AutoZone. A battery so tough, so dependable, we back it with a 2-year free replacement guarantee. The next time you hit the road, don't settle for anything less.
So Nicoderm CQ is working for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing just fine cold turkey.
Oh, well, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
Take a break?
Oh, nice one. Come on, you know we quit. Oh, wait, I'm coming.
Jack, no.
Just one cigarette.
No.
Why are you so calm?
Because I got help. CQ, a 24-hour stream of medicine that's always with you, even when you first wake up. Helps calm the cravings, my friend.
All right.
Nicoderm CQ, the power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
Well, top of the 9th inning, the Seattle Mariners, Ray, 3-run lead. Nothing doing for the Yankees. We've seen why the Yankees are on the verge of winning 15 out of their last 17.
Well, they've played great baseball, got great start from Dave Cone, aided by poor defense by the Mariners, and you see why this ball club has won the games that they've won.
So Cone has an impressive start and stands to win it. And Mariano Rivera, only his 5th appearance this year. He was hurt the opening weekend this series at Oakland. Went on the DL with a groin injury, but the 4 games he's worked, he's allowed nada.
He's one of the truly great talents in the game. young pitcher, great arm, 95 to 100 mile an hour fastball, hard slider. Probably as coveted a young arm as there is in the game.
He'll face Rich Amaral, Joey Cora, and Alex Rodriguez with Ken Griffey to up fourth if the Mariners can get a runner. Amaral came in to pitch it for Rob Ducey to lead off the seventh, promptly doubled and scored. The conclusion of this game will take you to the Blues at Kings, game 4 of the opening round series in the Stanley Cup. Ground ball to short. Jeter, a couple of steps. Jeter Martinez grabs it. Let's go rapier-like to John Saunders.
Well, Boomer, those waiting for the Blues and the Kings, it's been a great game. Hall, a little drop pass. Watch the move by Al McGinnis on Nordstrom. Pick up your lingerie. He's beaten. He was saved by Russ Portnoy coming back. Still cornless. It's coming up, Chris.
All right, so usually Al McGinnis with cannonading blasts in that situation, but now we'll get out to L.A. as quickly as we can. Joey Cora back to the left side of the plate. Joey's had 3 hits tonight. Triple to lead off the game, single, and another single. All-Star season last year for Joey. 16-game hitting streak to start this season.
92 mile an hour cutter that he throws where he just grips the fastball a little bit off center, cuts it like a little slider, and the ball moves in hard to the left-hander.
One hopper, can of corn, and not block, and the Mariners get down to their last out. Now, Joe Torre has to be pleased. He spotted his Pinellas club with 3 runs. David Cone was shaky in the first inning, but what he saw from Cone, and he's got 3 home runs tonight. Curtis a 3-run shot. Posada solo. Jeter a solo. Club is on the verge of winning 15-17 and improving their record to 18-6. 750 baseball rate.
Well, they won't maintain that, but they're going to win 100 games plus.
16-6, my fault. Not quite 750, but I mean, this is a team that has the cylinders clicking, although some of their biggest guys are not in the groove yet.
Well, that's how much talent they have, and that's why I think that they're going to go so far this year. They have such good talent with Cone and Pettit and Wells, and we haven't even mentioned El Duque, which is down in AAA.
Had 10 strikeouts in his first performance for Columbus.
There last year really established himself and had 43 saves. Allowed them to get rid of John Wetland or move John Wetland on the year before.
Count is 1-2 to Alex Rodriguez. The crowd now on its feet, sensing another Yankee victory. They've won 8 in a row. They won 6 in a row. They lost last night, and they would like to start another winning streak. Ground ball, diving, approaches over to Martinez, and the Yankee defense ends it in scintillating fashion. Thank you for joining us here at Yankee Stadium, Ray. It's a pleasure. Let's do this again sometime.
Yes, sir.
The Yankees have beaten the Mariners by a count of 8-5. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For all of us here at Yankee Stadium, I'm Chris Berman. So long. Now Steve Levy and Darren Pang for the Blues and the Kings.
All right.